Good evening, everyone, and welcome to EGFC Season 5, Week 6 of Overwatch 2. I'm your friendly neighborhood caster, HD Philly B, and alongside me with it this evening is the ever dashing Dividing. How are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing fantastic. I'm so ready for yet another exciting evening of Collegiate Overwatch 2, and we are starting off the night with a battle of two very heavyweight hitters here in the EGFC.
Absolutely. So UD is on a win streak right now at 4-0. They've 3-0'd Montana, RIT, and Marquette. However, I think the biggest 3-0 of this season that they did was against the University of Texas at Arlington, which was just
Yeah.
last week. So they came off their bye. UD had a massive game plan to foil UTA, and they executed it to perfection. So if you haven't seen that match, definitely go back to the official EGF page on Twitch and check it out. UD is my alma mater home school, so I'm definitely gonna be rooting for them in this one. I still go to their esports arena and cast a little bit. And I have to shout out their head esports coach, Kieran, and my boy, the manager, Turtle Captain. So appreciate you guys for all that you do for me and for the squad for sure.
Yeah, and Delaware has been kind of bursting onto the collegiate scene over the last year or so. They did win, of course, EGFC Season 4 over teams like UTA and University of Tennessee, Knoxville. So they have the resume, and they are the team to beat. Until someone else proves them otherwise. That is further proven by some of the things they've accomplished outside of EGFC, playing in the CECC East Regional for the first time earlier this semester, getting top 4 in that one against some very seasoned teams. Just goes to show you how much Delaware brings to the table and how well coached of a team they are, and just how high their ceiling is as a team. And when you move over to the other side, Auburn University, this is a team that aren't any slouches themselves. They got themselves, unfortunately, had to forfeit week one. By week two, ever since then, it has been all looking good for the Tigers. They have themselves a 3-1 overall record. They're also very highly ranked in the Southern Esports Conference, where they play against other SEC teams. This is a squad that has performed very well in EGF. It's performed very well in everything they've competed in this season. And they're looking to show the Blue Hens that there is a new top dog in town, or perhaps a new top cat, if you want to go by the mascots.
Absolutely. I mean, Auburn is red hot since coming into the season at week 3 of all things, and they've stomped any team that has crossed their path. So they 3-0'd William and Mary, 3-0'd University of Hawaii, and then in week 4 they won against UTA in a 3-1, and it was a very very close matchup all the way through. So the something I'm going to count the forfeit as not a loss on their record because I want these two teams to both have the 0 losses to their
Oh, for
name because
sure.
I want somebody to get that first loss of the season tonight.
I mean, it is the technical first loss of the season of the first game that both of these teams have played. So on a technicality, I will say you are correct, which is, of course, the best kind of correct.
Oh yeah.
So, as we look forward to getting into map, which should be happening momentarily, we are going to be starting off on Oasis today as our control map to start the day off. So, Philly, how are you thinking about the kinds of comps we might be seeing as we head into Oasis?
So Auburn's definitely going to be running the Reinhardt. I think they did show Roadhog on Ilios. If we do go to Ilios, we might see the Roadhog, but I think they're going to go Rhine. And the thing is that the Brad is a super aggressive tank. He's taken so much space. He's taken people one on one. He's taken anybody who wants to get even close to that hammer on, and the rest of the team backs him up. The wild thing here though is that the DPS duo on the side of Auburn, they also create so much space to allow him to do that. They section people off. They move the support line way out of range so that the tank matchup becomes a one-on-one, and then Brad has the advantage. So we'll definitely be looking on these off angles to find these DPS to try to corral people into certain areas, push them away from where the fight is actually happening, so that the Brad can do a ton of work. ideal on the other side. He is a jack of all trades. He can run anything that the team wants him to. I've seen him play the Roadhog as well. I've seen him play Ryan. I've seen him play everything. So it could be a gambit. I think they'll probably stick to the meta on this one, and maybe go with the Orisa, maybe go Sigma. I'd like to see probably the Orisa, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're kind of segmented up in the two main styles of play right now, right? Where you want to go all in, go for the brawly kind of close range compositions, and in that case, you'd want either a Reinhardt or an Orisa, and like a Bastion kind of deal. You'd want a Lucio to be able to get in and out as quickly as possible, or you could decide to go for more of a slower, pokey style of gameplay, in which case you'd probably go with the Sigma and go for some more long range DPS. And when it comes to Oasis, you can really make either work depending on the stage that you're in. Of course, University is very closed in, so I'm expecting the Reinhardts to rule the day there. But when it comes to Gardens, when it comes to City Center, there's a lot of open space to play around, a lot of high grounds to play around as well, especially on City Center. So I'm going to be really interested to see which team is going to be able to effectively play around the environment of all these sub maps, because Oasis is a map that I think they do a very good job of making every single one of these sub maps feel different and making different kinds of compositions very effective there.
For sure. And something that I'm going to be looking for is the Lucio players on both sides. So Charles normally plays Lucio on the side of Auburn. We have Hyper, who plays it on the side of UD. And both of those are lethal supports. They're looking for boops. They're getting in people's faces. They're zooming around. So we're definitely going to be seeing them captaining the squads, calling out who to go for, who to dive on, who to pressure. So definitely for the folks at home, look out for those two Lucios, because they're doing more than just hopping and shooting. They're making plays. They're calling out what needs to be done for both of their squads.
Yeah, it feels like whenever I watch Hyper, this dude is just flying all over the place, trying to look for sneaky boops. And we are headed into the game right now. Oasis, we're starting off on Garden. So like I said before, one of those maps that's a little more open, but has that strip of high ground right in the center of the map. It's very important to try and take control of that as quickly as possible. And that's why both these teams are running the Lucios, even though you have that Sigma-based composition to start off. So we are going to be seeing both these teams, I assume, try to fight over that high ground as quickly as possible as this Week 6 matchup gets underway.
Oh boy, and it's going to be a good one. The big difference here is that Riptide is on the Bastion.
Actuating the barrier.
Is on the Dozer. These quarters are very good. This bounce out because a lot of down first. Actually going into the wall to get on the side of Auburn, and a promotion taken down. Carter does find the first pick, and the rest is back.
Beautifully done from Carter there, waiting for Kobe to make the commitment past that little doorway, and after that happened, you're able to section the tank off from the rest of the team, and there is nothing more that Auburn can do after getting cut off from their supports. So now Delaware not only have the point, they also have control of that high ground, and a big environmental advantage right now. With no ults on the board for either side, it's going to take a big effort from Auburn to be able to take that back.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for a pick. I believe it's Bicycle coming out from the Brad. He's going to be looking to raise some headshots, probably whittle something down. They're going to hit the go button after that. The window is up for Sully / Zero, whatever name he's choosing today. The one gets walled off. They'll get back to the squad in time. Another wall comes through. Here comes the window from the big block so early. Did he catch him? But he thought he catch him too. Slams him into the ground, a couple of damage, but they're safe in that little corridor. Not for long as my field does find Brad in the end with the help from Sully. Another wall sectioning folks off, and they find more. No, they're coming to back in a minute on the side of Auburn. They want to take this. Here comes Kobe, lifting folks up and slamming them into the ground. But Soundberry takes the front of that thing. They do find Steel out. They do take it down. This looks like the tide is turning for the side of the Tiger. They're going to try to capitalize on this and not hopefully end their offense. We're going to take this point. There goes TBD Man, the last man standing, and that I think would be the click the block.
Yeah, Auburn actually does a really great job there, even though the Brad ends up getting taken down early, finding a way to stay in the fight and just survive long enough for those ultimates to come online. And the silver lining for the Brad going down early is now you have the Blizzard to work with for this next fight and all of the high ground in the world to be able to place that wherever you want it.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. The wall does come in to try to separate Ideal, but he'll get back to his team. I hear the artillery come flying in, but the back line of the B's able to knock it. So definitely he does have the overclock. He does have a little bit of high ground. Like you said, that Blizzard comes in, blocking, but he does. It gets a 3 people frozen up. And I think that was the sign of tossing in that. My apologies. I think it was a good from up to Blizzard, but TBD man does take the overclock and gets a couple headshots to secure the point.
Blizzard's on both sides, but the Sojourn pick from the Blue Hens ends up coming up huge as PPD Man is able to use that overclock to ensure that the people who get caught in that Blizzard go down. They take the point back, and with 80% counting, Auburn have one more good fight left in them before they end up giving up Gardens here, but their ult bank is depleted. They are fighting from the low ground yet again, and Delaware is just a couple moments away from getting their support ultimates online.
Yeah, that window is going to be huge, and there it is. He's going to be laying in the shots. They long off as is the strategy there. Nice. Off the high ground. Yeah, good job there. Cascade over Icefield to make sure he stays alive. Limp is going to move up. Riptide does find TBD, and Syrup does take Kobe down. So it is a 1-to-1 trade, but it's different positions that get taken down. Cooper has to stay aware. He has to stay elusive. Here comes the sound barrier, and he's pushing the tempo. There's that call out we're talking about. And there goes the Davidic Flux. What comes up must come down, and then that's the slam as Riptide gets taken down and sit back just on UD is just looking for the cleanup kills now. As there goes the Carter looking for a counterpart. Does wall off these. He made it so where she's going to be able to go. The stall here is coming out to the side of Kobe. Here comes the wrecking ball slam. He does spot the pile driver kill. Will this be a turning point for Auburn? They're moving, they're switching, they're trying to find somebody left. Carter trying to find somebody. No. Oh, he does. They take each other out at the end. And it looks like the ball, the final stall pick, able to flip the point just in the nick of time for Auburn.
Delaware maybe got a little bit complacent there, thought the round was over, and Syrup ends up getting caught out early on in that fight. And without the Baptiste, I mean, you're running a Lucio with your other support. You have basically no healing at that point. And when Auburn starts taking back space and putting pressure onto the tank, they just don't have the ability to sustain. This time around, though, they're coming back with Carter's Blizzard up yet again, but no hyping.
There is the Blizzard committed. He gets elevated out of it, right? So he's able to survive just for a second, and the Brad commits his as well. So once again, the Blizzard, there's a snowstorm out here, and the high ground is taken by Auburn, so they are putting in the window to try to get some, and TBD does have the overclock online, that 100% charge. He's just laying in shots into everybody he can see, and there's a 2K for him to hopefully secure the point as UD has flipped it in overtime. 99%. The overtime wick is burning. Nobody touches anytime soon. It will commit. There is one remaining member on the side of Auburn who is that pesky ball again, just rolling in and out of trying to keep that point contested. The rest of the team comes back. There goes Charles. He does his best to find if Piper gets the 2K at the end to secure the point for his team. Kobe with the sliver of help. No, a rock to the face will send him back to spawn, and that is the first map, or the first round rather, won by UD.
A valiant effort from the Tigers there on the stall picks, but I mean, it's just objectively a weaker comp based around trying to get back to the point as quickly as possible. So Delaware getting one more good fight in was going to be able to get the cap and get the eventual win. And this was not the coin flip you probably wanted if you were Auburn. Getting City Center up next means Delaware doesn't have to change a thing. The high ground maybe isn't quite as integral to this one as Gardens, as the high ground is kind of on the side and not in the middle, but it's still really big to try and play around it, and Auburn is still going to have to play into this May Sojourn combo that has given them fits so far.
Yeah, I mean, the architecture, like you mentioned, dividing, is so lethal for the Sojourner, and TBD has secured so many kills with that overclock, getting a 2K each of the time he's popped that ultimate. So those high grounds are going to be really, really important. Oh, that's so close. Does it get somebody? Oh, that was so close. Piper is just on the skin of his teeth, comes back inside and boots the back and up into the elevator to get him out of the way, but I think the damage is already done, and Riptide comes through with a couple of kills, and Brad popping some folks up after. That is a fight win for the side of Auburn. They'll be able to cap first.
Yeah, well, the boot might not have gotten any kills there, Philly. We do see it kind of discombobulate Delaware there for a second, and this comp is super dependent on structure. As soon as Delaware is kind of out of their comfort zone, things start to fall apart, and that's what causes a first point capture for the Tigers.
And here comes the rotation from UD. They're going to be looking to take this corridor here. The barrier doesn't block the entire entrance. Have the charge of shot. Try to find somebody to keep pushing their drone. Slow somebody down. Oh, just misses the May as they're able to treat just in time. The fire is coming in from all sides. This is a nice angle from TVD, but he decides to go back with the rest of his squad as they're trying to move in forward now. The cooldown. Oh no, here's Ideal. He's separated. Will he get back? The lamp is committed to keep him up, but he gets trapped. The gravitic flux slams him into the ground, and it's a double bouncy grenade from the side of Riptide to secure that round fight for Auburn.
Wow, the Gravitic Flux grenade combo from Auburn. Very crafty from this squad to ensure that those kills end up getting finished off. And the Tigers looking very strong now, 60% and counting here. Delaware, though, they're going to be coming back into this next fight with 4 ultimates, everything except for the Amplification Matrix online. They will have the firepower to take this one, but they are calling for a pause currently. They do not... It's Control Shift equals to be able to pause that. Yeah. we gave it a second. Yep. That is unfortunate. Unfortunate that it took as long as it did, but it is paused now, and there's still plenty of time on the clock for another fight for Delaware. And again, they're going to have 4 ultimates coming up here. They're going to be in a really good spot to take this back. They actually have a bunch of different options to try and engage here, whether it's with the Gravitic Flux or the kind of Blizzard overclock combo that we saw them use in round 1.
Yeah, but on the other side, Auburn does have a few ultimates themselves, right? So the May and Bastion will probably be getting their ultimates as they, the damage comes in as the UD is trying to take the point. So we could see another snowstorm with both Blizzards coming out. But I hope to see the fish in the barrel maneuver with the overclock gravitic flux combo as the people are dangling in the air. The Sojourn's able to just pick them out of the sky. We do like to see those mechanical skills on display. I would like to point out TVD Man. He is normally on the academy squad, right? He plays in the ECAC tournaments normally, but he has been called up today to play in the EGF for sub purposes. So it's good to see him. His Reaper is fantastic. So if you've ever seen him on the Reaper, it's about to go down. So he's definitely a tried and true DPS, a really good master of a lot of these characters. So I'm sure he'll stick for Sojourn just because that's kind of the meta, or at least the composition they want to play. But just know that he's got a couple of heroes in his back pocket that he may switch to if they need to mix things up.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is that Delaware hasn't really had to mix things up quite yet. Now, we are still early goings on in the series, and if this next fight doesn't end up working out for Delaware, it is most likely going to result in a second round loss for the Blue Hens. And with University coming up, that is when we might see those close range comps come out. The Reinhardts, the Arisas, the Reapers, like you said, potentially the pocket pick there for TVD Man coming out. But they, maybe looking a little too far ahead. As of right now, they're in a bit of a hole, but it is a hole that you can dig yourself out of pretty nicely, especially if you're able to win this fight without using your entire ult bank, right? If you're able to use 1 ult or 2 ults and keep a healthy rotation of those abilities coming around, you can snowball 1 fight win into a map victory.
Yeah, so here we go. TVD Man does have that overclock that he's been so proficient with. Can he find something? He does get the lamp out first, so that's a good tool to get out of the way, and that creates just enough space for Ideal to come in, and the Blizzard gets tossed in for good measure just to make sure that no one is left alive. They're going to be looking for every straggler that they can, and there goes the Brad, the final member of Auburn, sent back to spawn, and UD will be able to cap the point with 92% on the other side and 2 ultimates in the bank.
Yeah, that was actually very well executed from Delaware. They push Auburn back with the overclock and use the Blizzard to lock them down, and it allows them to keep the Gravitic Flux and the beat available to try and snowball this out. But Auburn now coming back into this one with 5 ults, and they've already found the Sojourn. This is looking bad.
they're not even going to need those ultimates. I'm thinking dividing as that sticky bomb just nailed TVD as he was trying to slide away, and they were able to capitalize and take him down. Now the dominoes are just tumbling down afterwards as they're just speed boosting and capitalizing on all of these stragglers. There's a nice wall to get that May down, and Carter sent back to spawn. So that's a flip for Auburn, and I think that might be the point for them as well.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be able to well, actually, we do get a touch coming in, probably from TVD man on this Sombra. Got around to the back, actually gets Riptide down. Okay, so a bit of a two-pronged attack coming in from the back, takes out the main damage source for Auburn right now. But with all of the chaos, will Delaware be able to keep playing? You do have that massive pillar in the center of the map to play around, and as we trade back and forth, this is a classic Oasis City Center moment as we're able to play around that cover.
And this is some of my favorite Overwatch, when it's so skirmishy, so scrappy, right? There's no tactics, there's no analysis here. It's just people trying to be the best player that they can be in this moment, trying to be the hero that they can be. So everyone's looking for any pick, trying to coordinate. The comms are going crazy on either side. And here comes TVD man. He's looking for a hack. He's trying to be sneaky. Will he get found out? He is detected, but no one seems to notice him just yet. He's looking for someone in the back line. He does get it, and then, jump on him. An executed dive to perfection. That's one member down, but still 4 more to go. And Auburn does have the point in their favor. So, and one mistake, one misstep from UD, and it will be all over. So they have to be careful now. Ideal goes jumping in, and he comes with the meteor strike, that escape tool. Is he going to slam onto someone? Squish! There goes Charles back to spawn, and a headshot for Kobe, and he's see you later. And I think that'll be a point for UD. Whoo! What a scrappy fight that was.
Incredibly scrappy, and what really impressed me about that, Philly, was the fact that even in that amount of scrappy play, you said yourself, you're like, oh, everyone's just scrapping around, there's no tactics here. No, Delaware had enough wherewithal to be able to pull out a coordinated dive onto a hacked obese chicken and take out the main healing source. So the ability to communicate and pull out a planned plays like that, even in a high pressure moment, is huge for Delaware.
Absolutely. The pulse bomb does go in, lays it right on top of the bastion, and the lamp has to be committed.
No EMP.
Oh, I got taken out of it. That's a crucial ultimate that could have turned the tides, or at least kept the point in the favor of UD. Well, everything went crumbling down afterwards. Ideal does get taken out. Once your tank gets taken out, it's a really tough hill to climb up after that. Baptiste tries to jump away, but nothing he can do. Hyper trying to stay alive. He does have the beat, decides not to commit, and they think that maybe this is a done deal. That's just a last-ditch effort EMP coming out from the side of TVD man to do something. Carter, though, is he sneaky? Can he find something? What is this? They're recontesting once again. Oh, but the artillery strike. Will this be the tide turner? Will this get anybody out? It does make Hyper commit the sound barrier, and some people are low. And Sirp has switched to the Kiriko to get back in time. We got a full dive composition now, but Ideal's going crazy, crazy low. The Suzu does keep him up just enough. He does get back to his team. The power block has been used, though. How is this fight still going on? This is crazy. I'm almost running out of words to say. The sound barrier now committed from Charles to try to get this one over the finish line, but UD just being so sneaky, so shifty on it. No one's able to find. Okay, but here's the pulse bomb. Will Carter be the hero? Will he be the hero? Now TVD picked off first once again. The Moira devastatingly low. There's the stick, but no, Riptide is being able to be saved by his supports, and he finds the kill on the Carter on the back of it. Only a few members now for the side of UD to try to stay alive, try to keep this point in their favor. 99% overtime tank is just burning out. Holy crap. That was something.
That was something, and it was absolutely everything that both of these teams had. I mean, we're talking map 1, round 2, and both of these teams are coming out early with a fire in them. You can tell that both these squads want to, they really want to come out this one. They understand the gravity of the situation. This isn't a playoff match, but these are two teams that are near the top of the EGF ladder, and the winner of this game could very easily be kind of talked about as the best team in EGF, the team to beat right now. So with that in mind, whoever takes this university map has a huge head start on getting that honor. And while I said this would be a close range map, we see both teams come out with largely the same thing, and in fact exactly the same thing.
Yeah, these poke compositions once again, and you're right, neither team wants to be given that first loss of the season, so to speak. So they're going to be trying their hardest. Dividing, I'm sweating. My hands are like, I can't even put them together. There's so much sweat after that fight. So you can only imagine how the players are feeling at this time. So the shields are being put out for the sides of the Sigma. The ice wall's being committed as well, but it looks like a 2K coming out from the side of Auburn, and UD is going to have to back up. They're retreating now, trying to get all the members back to spawn if they can, and no, the stragglers will be taken down and sent back to spawn as well. So UD will have to regroup, and the first cap does go to Auburn.
Auburn is going to get ticking up first, and while that happened, Obi's Chicken already has an amplification matrix on a line, can use that aggressively to try and get an early pick. I imagine that's what you would try to do, because Syrup, it's not going to take you much longer to get that up. Oh, but the grenade kill onto TVD, man, is absolutely massive. That's going to delay this Delaware attack by about 15 seconds or so. It'll be a full 50%, halfway to capture on this point before Delaware is going to be able to come in for a fight. But now that they do, Philly, we're going to be seeing a Blizzard from Carter available.
Yeah, that's absolutely massive that he was able to get that. He's going to be sneaky and kind of toss it around the corner and then hide behind it. But no, they're trying to take press the advantage, Auburn, as they lay down the window and they do the turret form to try to put in some damage. But UD able to definitely dodge that and skirt it. And here comes the Blizzard as the counterattack, and the window laid on top of it. But the Graffiti Flux takes everybody out of the window and slams it down as a 4-man Flux. Will they be able to survive out of it? Kobe does find Syrup, which is the main source of healing. I don't know if they'll be able to press this anymore. They're going to have to retreat and wait for him to come back.
Very well executed from Kobe, waiting until Delaware fully committed before using that gravitic flux to perfection. And the fact that and the amplification matrix is all Auburn had to use bodes extremely well for their ability to hold on for what potentially could be the final fight of Oasis here. 85% and counting. Delaware has to get it done now with the 3 ults they have.
Ooh, Brad was looking for a trap, but he wasn't able to find it as UD decides to take a different angle. The Graffiti Flux comes in from... they do get it, but the sound barrier from Charles does come out just in the nick of time to keep everybody up, which then in turn causes Hyper to put out his sound barrier. UD has to and press the attack now, and there it is. TVD, man, once again with that overclock, laying in the shots to the side of Auburn, taking heads and taking names. This will be a point flip for the side of UD.
It's a point flip, but now they have a bit of a hill to climb. 99% to 3 and counting for the Blue Hens, and they had to use everything they had in their current arsenal in order to take that one fight. While they do have the Amp Matrix from Syrup, Obi's Chicken is just going to get one in turn. In fact, it just came online right now. What I'm going to be looking at, can Delaware survive long enough for Carter to get that last 20% to the Blizzard? If so, that could be the fight winner.
Yeah, they're going to have to play a little bit passively, trying to get him the shots, and I think he's just about to get it now. There it is. So he does have it, though, so he might be tossing it in. Kobe using his cooldowns now. He does get his counterpart up in the air and slam down with the lamp, perfectly timed to keep him alive. And there goes. The Blizzard does capitalize, get a few members on the side of Auburn. Can you hold this? It's a battle of the maze now. The wall has been committed from the side of the Brad, but he's getting turned, trying to focus the support, and he does find the Baptiste in the interim. So Carter's all on his lonesome, but no, Hyper comes in like a hero out of nowhere, trying to save his DPS line to keep the point in the favor of UD. He does find that sneaky little angle down into the health pack, but he is speedy enough to get back into the fray. But in the meantime, Auburn has flipped the point. The overtime wick is now burning once again. UD on up against the wall, doing anything that they can to try to capitalize the point for themselves. Carter, the last person standing, does use the ice block, but he does get taken down. Then here comes Ideal. He's the next one to stall. He uses every cooldown in the book to try to keep himself up, and the hammer comes swinging through from the side of Kobe and just sends him back to spawn. And then the Bastion wasn't able to get there in time, and Auburn takes map 1.
Delaware was just barely not able to hold on long enough for that Blizzard. I mean, it got several kills, but you were not able to get those kills unscathed, right? It was basically just clawing back bodies that Auburn had already taken from you from their very aggressive push just moments before. So it was a very valiant effort from the Blue Hens, but unfortunately coming up just short on Oasis gives Auburn University a map win. Is that the first map loss for Delaware on the season?
I think it might be, actually.
I think that might be right. Because you said before that they've been 3-0ing everybody up to this point.
Hmm. And if dividing, if that's any indication of how this series is going to go, we are in for a juggernaut of a match. These two teams are going to be duking it out, no breaks, no rest, punching each other left and right, like Rocky, who can stand in there the longest and take the most amount of hits. So this is going to be a doozy of a matchup for sure. A couple of things I want to point out, and I think you'll be able to speak to this too, is the alt rotation, and I think that's something we should kind of bring out to folks because it's like, why are
Sure.
we playing these compositions? So it's like, all right, if the window comes out for Baptiste, you put the May wall, then you lift them up, then you shoot them with the overclock or the turret. Right? There's a sequence in terms of how you layer these ultimates, and if you can disrupt the other team's sequence or kind of dodge out of it, then you might have the advantage to press the attack and take some of that space for yourself. So it's all about you watching these sequences of ultimate usage.
Yeah, it is not even just the sequences of ultimate usage, but also just how people use their abilities in order to capitalize on the ultimates. We saw before, like you mentioned, the Maywall on the Baptiste ultimate in order to counter the amplification matrix. We saw before the Bastion using their bouncing grenades on the Gravitic Flux in order to finish those kills. So being able to understand when those ultimates are coming in, what you can do as a player in order to secure those kills, secure that win condition for your team, it is incredibly important. And that's something that I think I've been seeing both teams do quite well. Uh, Delaware, unfortunately, near the end there, they kind of that ult rotation, I think a little bit of desperation ended up coming in for them as they kind of used 3 ultimates in one fight. Usually, if you're using 3 ultimates in one fight or more, that is seen as kind of an overreach. Now, I know that Delaware was kind of in a we have to win this or go home, or the map's over kind of situation. That's one of the rare spots where that it's acceptable, but it puts you in a bad spot to try and claw a 99-0 deficit back.
For sure. Yeah. And I think once again, keeping a lookout for these Lucios, right? Because they're going to be trying to save those sound barriers for those crucial moments, whether your team gets fluxed or the matrix comes in and a bouncy grenade gets a tag into, whatever it might be. So keeping your Lucio player alive and making sure that they have the sound barrier in time for those crucial moments is integral. I think something else that I want to see is maybe going on to Eichenwald if UD goes away from this poke composition, because Ideal Warrior looked a little bit shaky on that
Mhm.
Sigma. And I know, like I said, he's a jack of all trades, right? So I know he can play every tank fairly well, but he does have better tanks that he prefers to play. Sigma may not be one of them. So Kobe definitely had his number in that round. So we'll see if they try to make an adjustment off of that. The other thing I'll say is maybe Auburn will switch, because the last few games of Auburn I've seen, they've been switching roles. Obese Chicken will go on the attack and Kobe will go to support and things of that nature. So we'll see if Auburn decides to make any changes coming into
Yeah.
Eichenwald.
I mean, if there's a place to make changes, it's Eichenwald, right? Like, this has very historically been the kind of map where teams can get a little bit silly with it, right? It's a lot. It's very open. Point A is very open. Point B, you have that big castle high ground to play around. So there is a lot that you could do. Obviously, early days of Overwatch, Far and Mercy was played a lot. Now it's a little more of just the Bastion compositions that have ruled the day. But as we get into this one, with Delaware is actually going to be starting off on the defense here. We're seeing a lot of the same from both sides, and I'm curious to see how long Delaware is going to stick on this Sojourn variant of the composition. They found some success, but the 0-1 scoreline speaks for itself here. Will they eventually swap onto their own Bastion or go to something else entirely?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the ultimate, right? Like the Bastion ultimate, it's hard to get value out of it, right? Because it's easy to see coming. Whereas the overclock, it really comes down to the skill of the player in terms of how much value you can get and if you can combo it with some of those other ultimates like Blizzard and Flux. So I think that's what they're kind of banking on, is TBD to pop off in some of these crucial moments. So we'll see if they can facilitate him being able to do so. In the meantime, though, Auburn is on the attack and they're looking to press the approach here. The ice ball does come out early from the side of Delaware, so that could be a crucial cooldown that comes off for them. So here comes the Bastion. Knowing the wall is down, he's going to be looking to lay into those bullets and find a pickoff. He does not get anybody there as UD decides to run and hide like rabbits, finding their way into the hole. So here comes UD, though. They are trying to to take the attack. The lamp is committed, and here's TVD, 100% shot. He's gonna be looking for a pick. He does just barely miss the tank, but he's gonna try to charge up his railgun once again, and he switch back over to Ideal Warrior, who's now rotating his cooldowns to much more effectiveness. And the wall, a surprise window coming out from the side of Auburn. Will they be able to find anything off it? Once again, UD able to corral themselves accordingly, communicate effectively, get themselves back into this small room, but they're gonna need to push out as Auburn is looking to take some of that percentage, and now 2 kills off of that corral, and they're gonna start accruing here some points now.
Kobe got so low in that fight. I'm talking sub 50 health, but Obese Chicken and Charles are able to do just enough to keep their big tank alive through the Delaware onslaught, and that is what allows Auburn University to find that second wind and get themselves the point early. 5 minutes on the clock when you first start moving. That payload is incredibly good for the Tigers, but you know what else is incredibly good for the Blue Hens? That whole row of check marks that's about to come online once TBD Man gets that last 10% to the overclock. They have the high ground, they have the firepower, they have even the choke point potentially to play around this gate. You know, Auburn knows that as soon as they peek out of here, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, they're going to have to rotate their ultimates effectively here. Can't be at 5-man queue. Here's a rotation now that comes through from Auburn. They're just trying to maybe get something out of them. Who's going to be nervous and press the queue first, right? But they're going to try to take it in the neutral. UD just has to stay calm. Here comes the grasp from Kobe to keep himself alive. TBD Man gets himself in the thick of it, does lay out the overclock, the least impactful, so let's see if he can find something with it, but everyone decides to run and hide. I do like the switch coming out from the Brad to be onto the Tracer to try to get to this high ground more quickly and kind of cause some havoc there. So we'll see. It looks like we did a little bit of a ring around the rosy now as Auburn has taken the high ground.
Yeah, this is really interesting and potentially allowing the Brad to get into the back and make sure that Hyper and Syrup can't just do whatever they want. Now both support ultimates use every ultimate online for Delaware, and a nice cancel from Kobe onto Ideal Warrior is going to cancel out the Gravitic Flux, put that Sigma in the middle of nowhere. Carter goes down, and you see the assault coming in from the Tigers. Auburn looking strong right now. A boot from Hyper tries to pull things around, but a pulse bomb from the Brad takes down the tank, and that should be about it. The Tracer, oh my gosh, the accretion from downtown from Kobe knocks Hyper out of the game. The Tracer swap from the Brad ends up paying dividends for Auburn University as they are knocking on the doors of the castle.
Yeah, quite literally, and I think Kobe very aptly named with some of these accretions that he's been hitting. Here comes the artillery strike from the Riptide, just nailing Syrup right in the noggin, and that's the bulk of the healing gone once again from the side of UD, and I think they're just going to be falling so quite quickly after that as Kobe finds another kill on the side of UD. He's just fragging out here as he's just laying in those hyperspheres to everybody he can find. He is literally on fire.
The entire Auburn squad is on fire. This is a blazing fast pace that they are setting so far. 4 minutes heading into point C. Plenty of time to siege this castle. And still with a bit of an ult advantage. Obese Chicken's very ahead of Syrup when it comes to that amplification matrix. And that could be huge for allowing them to take this first corner.
Yeah, and take this full corner they are going to look for. So they're gonna, here comes DVD Man. He is charged up. You can see his glowing pulse rifle. He's gonna be looking for a shot. We need him to step up. We need him to step up now. He's got it. There is the overclock. Does he decide to use it as the lamp and the amplification matrix have been utilized on the side of Auburn, but he decides to wrap around back to the corner, let the other team come into them. There's the gravitic flux from Kobe. He's hyper aggressive with it, and the sound barrier from Hyper keeping his team alive. Once again, like we were mentioning, a very crucial ultimate that has to be aptly timed. The window does force Auburn back for just a moment. UD can take a breath as they get to reset here now.
Yeah, finally, it feels like UD are able to slow down the pressure from Auburn, but they're going to be coming back into this one very quickly, not allowing them to breathe for long. The beat is online, and there's more to follow.
Yeah, and so they UD decides to press the advantage and move themselves forward, almost like a dive, if you will, trying to capitalize on somebody, but the tables get turned against them, and Kobe once again finds his counterpart in Ideal and sends it back to spawn. Charles comes flying in with a headshot as well. The sound barrier is committed from the side of Charles just to keep everybody up. This is a really tough point for the attacking side to take as these spawns are really, really close. He does switch over to the Bastion. Will that be the heroic play that they need? The gravitic flux does catch two. Will they be able to slam him down? smooth ice block from the May, keeping herself alive and healing herself up as well. Nobody from the side of Auburn fell from that ultimate, and here comes the artillery strike once again. Does find his counterpart in TVD. That is cascading now as the deficit is just mounting for the side of UD as they're just straggling to get onto the point. Anybody can touch, anybody prevent it from getting to the end. Will it be Carter? Will it be Kobe? Will it be somebody? And it looks like Auburn is able to finally cap the point.
The Bastion swap at the end from Delaware. I mentioned, would we be able to see the swap come in from Delaware? And it turns out they are very willing to swap to the Bastion, but at this point, it was too little too late. A 2-minute time bank for Auburn is very strong. Going into their defense, they have plenty of opportunities here to take a 2-0 lead in this series. And honestly, right now, it's now Delaware who has to figure something else out here. It seems like the Sojourn-based composition, it's strong, it's had its moments, it has not been able to stand up to the consistency of this Bastion-based comp. It's just Riptide is able to melt down Ideal Warrior's shields and Carter's walls incredibly quickly. And then you open up some of your squishier members like TVD Man and Hyper to the Hyperspheres of Kobe and the Icicles of Brad. It has been very difficult to deal with. And it feels like Delaware has got to change something up right here, right now, or else they could find themselves in a reverse sweep situation very quickly. As it is, they have a lot of confidence in their Sojourn composition. They're going to stick with it. We'll see if that faith in the comp is going to work out.
Yeah, I tend to have to agree. I mean, I would like to see even like sort of a dive. Maybe you go for a Doomfist or Diva, Winston, something that can just get past this Sigma and just go into the backline and cause some havoc. So they really are putting a lot of onus onto TVD to make a play, find a pick, and right now he's coming up just a little bit short. So hopefully he can get his head on straight. He does have the pulse rifle charge, so let's see if he can find somebody with it. But Kobe just taking so much space, just annihilating everybody, getting so much damage off with those hyperspheres. There's AoE is just crushing people. He does take Ideal Warrior. They go right into the face. They use the Gravitic Flux, and Carter's able to use the Icicle Gun to get him down. Finally, a first pick for UD. They have to capitalize on this now. They're going to be moving forward, but the Brad has something to say about it. He does have the Snowball, and he just lays it right down. He doesn't even care. He's got to just defend his point, anything that he can do. But UD has already fragged out two more folks on the side of Auburn, so it looks like UD will finally be able to cap this point.
A nice little moment of flexing from the Brad, but that might be a Blizzard that you'll want back there. There was just no one around to take advantage of the freezes that he got. And so, Delaware, if you're going to equalize this attack, this is how you do it. You actually have a 20-second advantage on Auburn at this point in the map, and we end up in a very similar situation here with the Blue Hens trying to take control of this castle high ground, but Auburn University are wise to this move. They pulled it off themselves, and they're saying you're not getting up this staircase.
Yeah, no chance. And I think that UD, what they need to do is they need to set a trap, right? Kobe's hyper aggressive. He's moving in and out. He wants to get in there and lay damage down with those hyperspheres. So they got to capitalize. They got to punish on him. So you can see that the Brad has been trying to do that, getting into these off angles where he is right now, trying to, he's going to wall anybody off who tries to come up the stairs. And then that person's donezo's, right? So what UD needs to try to do is do the same to them. Try to find that capitalization piece and wall somebody off. Okay, here we go. The fight is starting now. The grass field put out from the side of Ideal, but is not able to save TVD, man, as he gets taken down. But a huge Gravitic Flux just gets everybody in this room, and the Blizzard laid on top just lock everybody in place. But UD has to find some kills now. Hyper does find one onto Riptide, but Charles does find one onto Ideal, so it's a 3v3, I think, at this point. We got to find who's going to come out on top. Here comes Carter. Is he going to back down towards the point? No. He's going to try to keep his support alive. No. UD decides to back everybody out. They need their tank. That's the crucial piece of this puzzle for them.
Yep, they back out for now and allow Auburn University to stay on that high ground, keep holding strong, as even just one fight win on point B is better than the defense that Delaware had on this point. So it's going to be very interesting, and now they're all crowded in this castle. Riptide lets the artillery shells go. Ideal Warrior is down, and we are in full retreat mode for Delaware, but they can't. They're blocked by the ice wall, and Auburn is going to pounce on their prey, pick after pick after pick for the Tigers as they push Delaware all the way back into their own spawn room, practically touching the spawn doors there.
My goodness, these ice walls have been cruel from the side of the Brad. He is just walling people off left and right. And, you know, if you can't see behind you, you're just backing up. You're like, why can't I go further? And then you're done, right? So it's just incredible. There's another one. The sneaky trap, once again, dividing. And here comes Snowball, just putting in that little blizzard, just freezing everybody up. And everyone gets quickly taken out and sent back to spawn. Another foil push from UD on the side of Auburn.
Yeah, and this stagger on Carter is absolutely brutal. Delaware has been slamming their heads into this brick wall for, it's been almost 3 minutes now, and they've gotten absolutely nowhere. Auburn has been outmaneuvering and out-abilitying Delaware up to this point, using the castle high ground to very good advantage, but with a pick and with 4 and almost 5 ultimates available for the Blue Hens, this is their moment to shine.
Yeah, they have to be wary of the Brad. They did find him out there on that high ground. They laid a couple shots into him, so he had to retreat. He's very low still, hasn't been able to find the healing and hasn't committed the ice block. Okay, there he is. He found a health pack. But as you said, a couple of ultimates on the side of UD, but Auburn is not going to give this high ground up without a fight. So they're making him look back, and here's a huge gravitic flux, gets 3 members on the side of UD. The sound barrier has to come out now, like we were mentioning, but it's a little too late as Syrup just gets absolutely taken down. He just focus fired and obliterated. Wow. But UD has to keep this point going. Riptide once again laying in the sticky bomb to find some extra kills. Carter with a heroic snowball, and Hyper finds 3. What? UD, will they be able to cap this point? Just the Bastion now, just the one left, and he gets jumbled up and sent back to spawn. UD is able to cap point 2.
On the back of a 4K from Hyper, by the way, most of which on enemies that were standing still due to Blizzard, but still, seeing the Lucio in the kill feed that much is always a ton of fun, as Delaware continues their push forward. Now, with 2 minutes 40 seconds on the clock, it's almost guaranteed at this point that they're going to have a lesser time bank by the end, and if I'm Delaware, I'm concerned about potentially finishing this map with time on the clock at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you got to do... Oh, there's a nice wall, finally, from the side of Carter, doing the same trap. The Gravitic Flux catches 3. Can they find anybody? They do! They do the same thing that they did to them, right? The double sticky grenade kill from the side of TVD, man. Dividing, you were right. The Bastion is just a better pick than the Sojourn. He can just do way more damage, way more DPS, so the switch was definitely crucially needed. He does sacrifice his life for it, so Hyper has to go back and taxi him to the rest of the team. So it's a 3v5 on the point right now, just for a few more moments. And like we were mentioning, this is a very tough point to take. So UD has less than 2 minutes now to try to cap it, and no ultimates in the bank. Okay, here comes the Blizzard now, laid down by the Brad. Can it catch anybody in it? I think it's going to get TVD, man, so the sound barrier has to be committed, but it's too late as Kobe from downtown lays in those hyperspheres once again and sends TVD. He just got back to the fight, too. That gotta feel bad. It's like a dieback, basically, and UD has to retreat. They can't spend any more time. They have to get all 5 members back before they can recontest.
90 seconds left on the clock mean there's probably 2 good opportunities for Delaware, 2 good fights to try and cross the finish line here with at least 1 second on the clock to be able to give themselves a fighting chance in extra rounds. The question is, when are you going to go all in? You have the Ant Matrix, you have the Blizzard, the artillery shells, and the Gravitic Flux should come up before the clock reaches 0. Do you do it now or later?
Yeah, the no sound barrier that time, so the lamp has to be committed, but the snowball coming in from Carter, trying to lock everybody up once again, and that does cause Auburn to retreat, so they couldn't capitalize on the damage that was put out from the side of that Gravitic Flux. But as they do re-engage, 2 nasty headshots from the side of Auburn do take down 2 members of UD, and UD will have to back up once again. They will have 1 time for a push, like you were mentioning.
Yeah, they have 1 more opportunity. They used the Blizzard in that last fight and the Amplification Matrix. So instead of going all in on 1 fight, they are going to kind of go halvesies on both of them here. Now the artillery shells and the Gravitic Flux is there. Can you get an early immortality field out of OB's chicken? That's a very good way to ensure that this Gravitic Flux gets huge value, but you've lost TVD, man. You've lost your main source of damage. Delaware's trying to get out, but Auburn's not going to let it happen.
Oh my goodness, that's the second or third time. Yeah,
it's got to be it.
There's no way that anybody can touch. That's the second or third time TVD has been caught out by those artillery strikes.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh, no,
Wait
no.
a second.
What?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Auburn might have gotten a little bit overzealous here, pushed a little bit too far, and now they're like, wait a second, there's a Lucio on point, there's a Tracer on point. This isn't over yet, Philly.
Oh my goodness, okay, they're trying to back cap now, and like we're saying, Hyper, the captain of the team, he knows he's got to put the team on his back sometime, and so he came up with the 5-head play to put himself on the cart and have Auburn retreat back to their spawn doors. So UD is able to take one more fight out of this, but the Gravitiflux does put everybody up and slams him back down, but the barrier is there from Hyper to keep his team topped up. He's putting a heroic, Herculean effort in to keep everybody alive, and there's the Doomfist I was mentioning, dividing to get past this Sigma and lay some damage. The sound barrier from Charles will that be the deciding factor? It is not just yet, as UD is able to skirt around it. Carter just says, there you are, Charles, I found you, and takes him down and sends him back to spawn. Syrup, with a melee kill, is able to find Charles, or to Riptide, rather, and so the cart is ever so close to that golden box of victory. Only a few more members left. The Diva trying to contest using every ability they have in the book, and here comes TVD Man with the Sombra now for the hack onto that. It easily communicated to take her down, but still the members are cascading in from Auburn from those spawn doors. The spawn advantage coming in huge, but the communication from UD just too strong, and they can cap it at the last moment.
Auburn was so close to being able to come away from this one with a 2-0 lead, but again, we're seeing these teams lose their concentration for just a moment when they think that a fight is won. I said it was won. I thought for sure that it was over, but a couple of picks, desperation picks, started coming in from Delaware. Hyper found a way to get to the point, and Auburn University were caught off guard. They were on the back foot. And now, instead of a 2-0 lead, they find themselves with 2 minutes on the clock and 1 tick to be able to get there. Otherwise, we would be seeing a draw in this one. Of course, draws in Overwatch much more rare now that Assault is gone. But if there's any situation where Delaware can claw back a draw into a series that looked lost for them for a second, it is this kind of situation. 2 minutes on the clock means you only have 2, maybe 3 fights if you get if you are very quick about it. You're going to be able to get ultimates, but of course Delaware will be able to as well. The question is if Delaware is going to have any significant changes from their point 1 where they got rolled over immediately, and they do. TVD Man is going to be starting off on the Bastion this time. We have a mirror matchup, and it seems like Delaware has moved over to the dark side, depending on if you think Bastion is the dark side.
100%. And, you know, Dividing, we were talking about this pregame that we haven't seen a tie in a long time, or a draw, rather. So if we jinxed ourselves here, I'm going to be laughing myself all the way to the bank. So we'll see what happens. I do like to switch on to the Bastion for TVD Man and see if he can get some value out of it. So it looks like Kobe's pressing the advantage. He likes to play that hyper-aggressive style. He's going to be looking for a pick. The wall off Carter. Can they find the pick onto him? And TVD just laying down so much damage from this off angle, and the grass comes in a little too late to you know, thwart a ton of that damage, but they are able to get topped up as Obese Chicken does have to commit the lamp to keep himself alive. They wall off Ideal, and the lamp, I think, saves him from the rock, so he's able to put the shield up just in time to get rid of the rest of the damage that comes following up from the side of Auburn. And TVD does find this with 24 health, finds his counterpart, and UD can thwart the first push from Auburn.
They thwart the first push, and with 1 minute off the clock, it means that, I mean, this is it right here. Auburn is going to have one more shot here to get that 1 tick and secure themselves that 2-0 lead. But both sides, I mean, I'm looking at these ultimates from Delaware. 4 of them are up right now. Ideal Warrior not far behind either. They have the firepower here to ensure that we will be staking at 1-0. Kobe goes down immediately, and Auburn has to back up. It was only the Amplification Matrix 2. That is beautiful. We are going to get one more fight here from the Tigers, but it's going to be rushed. They have to get onto the point as quickly as possible. They have Blizzard. They have support ults. They have a couple more coming up. Can they get there in time?
Though the Blizzard is coming in and taking 2 down from the side of Auburn, but the sound barrier is committed on both sides, and here comes the Riptide with some of that. He was able to find value with it once, and he can find value again. But TVD does find the Brad as well. The stall heroes coming out now, but it's too late. A draw. Oh my gosh, Dividing. We jinxed it, man. We jinxed it.
It's gonna be one of those games, I think, Philly. I think we know the kind of series that we are in for tonight. No, and that's no slight to either of these teams. Both of them extremely skilled. Both of them clearly want this very badly. And Delaware, honestly, huge props to them. I called the map over. I said we were done here. But not only do they manage to find a way to keep the game going, but they managed to claw a draw out of what felt like a dire situation and keep the score at 1-0 going into map 3. And now our sixth map that I did write down, I thought was like, hey, I don't think we're gonna need this. Is all of a sudden in play here.
Yeah, and it will be Ilios. It will be a control map if we do get to that point. I, Dividing, I'm glad you were able to talk through that last couple minutes because I was bouncing in my chair up and down. I don't think I was able to just spew words at that point. So I appreciate you taking that one over for me because that was a nail biter for sure. The momentum is huge on the side of UD coming up with these crazy clutch plays. The only thing with clutch plays is how many do you have in the bank? You can't be clutching every time. You have to be able to come in with a set strategy and win some of these neutrals outright. So I think in that the last fight for UD on the attack, okay, TBD, he got picked off first. He went back to spawn. He came out as the Bastion, laid in the artillery strike from spawn, was able to get Riptide really, really low. And so Hyper, as he was sneaking into the backline, got onto the cart and saw that Riptide was so low and just bang, bang, 2 headshots right to the head and took him down. And then someone else that was also pretty low from the artillery strike as well, and they took that person down as well. So that was a clutch play from TBD that just came out of nowhere. And then from there, he was able to switch to the Sombra to get back a little bit quicker to the point. And then, we know what happens. The rest was history. But still, a really clutch play for utilizing that ultimate all the way from spawn.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredibly well done from the entire Delaware roster. And I think that's something that has struck me as being very strong about this Blue Hens team. No matter where they are, it seems like this is just a team that is very well coached and is very disciplined, right? No matter what situation they're in, no matter how dire it seems, we saw this on Oasis and we saw it again on Eichenwald. This team is able to keep their cool and continue to fight plan, continue to ult plan, continue to try and figure out the puzzle of Overwatch. How can we find a way to win here? Instead of just breaking down into all of your various scraps and just trying to win your 1v1s, Delaware continues to work together towards a common goal. And when that happens, it's very difficult to beat because more often than not, the other team has broken down into those we're just going to shoot good and win. And that's not going to win against a well-coordinated team. Hey, there's our sixth map all of a sudden, now that it's in play. Ilios is in play, but for now, we head over to New Junk City, our flashpoint map of day. So, I mean, we're going to be seeing a lot of Lucios for sure. I mean, I think with New Junk City, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of the same from both sides. I think just being able to get around the map very quickly, being able to sort of poke from either side of these flashpoints, and being able to move fast is the main thing. So I think in New Junk City, we're probably seeing a lot of the same kind of comp.
Absolutely, and something I want to touch on dividing is like I've been with those guys at UD. They're all friends. They're all teammates. In between matches, they go and play pool together. They talk, they chat, they joke around. They're a team. They're a team and they're friends, and that really they trust each other. And having that trust, it means you can call winnable in the chat, and people be like, okay, we got this, and that boost of confidence can often help your aim get that headshot or find that right ability moment, whatever it might be, to capitalize and bring your team to victory. I know they trust Hyper as their captain, as the leader, to call those shots, say, hey guys, we got this, we can do it. And half the battle in Overwatch is being able to refocus yourself, to not get tilted, right? Recompose and say, okay, this is the plan. This is what we need to do. We're not just going to run head first, go trickling in, whatever it might be, right? Somebody's got to call the shots and help the team move forward. And that man is Hyper.
Yeah, it's incredibly well done from this squad. They're very well structured, very well disciplined. But what they don't have so far is a map win, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we're singing their praises. They still find themselves in a 1-0 hole in
it's true.
this series overall. Now, this could have been a turning point for the series looking back, but uh, Delaware needs to get themselves on the board now. There's no more draw opportunities for the rest of this series. It's not gonna happen anymore. You gotta turn that 0 into something else, please, Blue Hens. I'm begging you. So as we get into New Junk City, we're probably, like I said, gonna be seeing a lot of the same kinds of comps, but
Mhm.
uh, the way that Flashpoint ends up working, I found, is that it is a lot more frantic just overall, just because of the fast-paced nature. It's kind of control, but kind of not, because the percentages tick up so incredibly fast. So people are going to be moving, people are going to be scrapping, and I'm curious to see when it comes to that sort of team, it kind of ends up feeling like team deathmatch kind of style. So I'm
Mhm.
curious which team that is going to benefit.
Yeah, and, I kind of want to see Ideal go on to the Doomfist. I feel like I know it was towards the end as a stall hero and things of that nature, but I think he did find some good effect with it. And TVD going on the Sombra, the real like quick hack to virus combo that he's been dishing out
Mhm.
there. I think that's been working really well. So maybe on this as Flashpoint, it could be useful as they're just jumping around the map, going from point to point, battle to battle, skirmish to skirmish. So I would like to see that coming out. Doesn't seem like that will be the case. Is this, we are in the Sigma meta, we are in the floaty man time zone. So it looks like it will be the Sigma on the side of both of these teams.
It's going to be exactly that, and notably the Bastion on both sides of these teams as well.
Mm-hmm.
Delaware going away from the Sojourn for now, going to go ahead and mirror that Bastion. And as we head over onto Arena, the tone setter for Flashpoint, for New Junk City as a whole, who is going to get that first fight win, who's going to get that first point win and set the tone here?
Oh, the spam just coming out from both sides, and Ideal's able to get the first pick on the obese chicken, and that's the go button for them. They're going to be trying to find some more stragglers after that. A nice wall once again from the Brad, thwarting that advance, and UD will just take the concession and go to the point to just cap it first.
Yeah, very well done there. Nicely planned from Delaware, finding that isolated member of Auburn, taking them down immediately, stopping the fight before it even really starts. But also silver lining here, since Auburn got out so fast, they're going to be able to recontest it very quickly.
Right, yeah, not that much percent accrued on the clock there. A ton of cooldowns now coming out from the side of UD as they're trying to thwart the advance from Auburn. There goes the lamp, there goes the Graston Carter with a headshot onto his counterpart. UD is going to be looking for more here now. They wall him off the wall, they escape. There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide as UD is coming at you.
That is a statement fight win if I've ever seen one. Just in the neutral, no ult use from either side, and oh, this stagger on Obi's Chicken is huge. Not only is it a stagger, it's a stagger on your main healer who had an amplification matrix ready, and with 80% and counting, now if you're Auburn, you're wondering, do we even go for this point? Or do we just try and back off and go and prepare for point number 2? We see a couple members of Auburn hanging around here. They are going to go for it here with kind of I mean, you only have 3 members on the point right now. You're without your main healer. I don't like this play because now, I mean, you could have given yourself a head start on the second point that gets picked here, and instead you're back to spawn. You are giving Delaware an incredible opportunity to get to the next flashpoint first and get set up there and potentially snowball this map out of control.
Yeah, I think maybe they were trying to get more ultimates out of UD, but UD very disciplined. They only committed the Blizzard, which is still a very impactful ultimate. But you see those 4 glowing check marks on the side of UD as well. So very disciplined to win that fight. So yeah, I agree with you dividing. I don't think it was the best play. I think they should have just taken it back and tried to find out where the next point is. But here we go, fighting in the neutral once again, trying to find some of these sight lines as the Sigmas lay down their barriers and the ice walls come in. The artillery strike leading in from TVD man does corral some folks from Auburn into this corner, and UD decides to hit the go button and capitalize in. But Kobe says, not without a fight. Here's a gravitic flux to the face. It tosses a couple members up right into the blizzard of the Brad, and he takes a few members with him as he goes to the grave, and they're able to cap the first point.
Auburn did a very good job there of holding on to their ultimates for that perfect moment when Delaware was all clumped up in that very narrow hallway. And because of that, because they held on to it, they didn't let them go all willy-nilly. They waited for that perfect moment. They get first point capture, 30% and counting before Delaware gets back. And that row that you were talking about, Philly, is all of a sudden down to just a Gravitic Flux from Ideal Warrior.
Yeah, another good display of team discipline, this time on the side of Auburn as they waited for the certain abilities to come through. There's that Riptide artillery strike that's been getting so much value this entire match. Ideal Warrior using that kinetic grass to block some of that damage from his counterpart. And here's the Gravitic Flux sending a couple of people into the sky and slamming them back down as he's apt to do. But can he find any picks off of it? No, it turns out that Riptide does that bouncer grenade. Once again, it gets Hyper, the leader of the team on the side of the Blue Hens. Will everyone come crumbling down afterwards? It looks like it. Carter has something to say about it, though, as he's trying to find a few more stragglers and send them back to spawn. Ideal using every ability in the book to keep himself up. The Baptiste laying all the healing into he can to his tank, but it's just not enough, and Ideal falls, and the rest go tumbling after. The second point goes the way of Auburn.
And it's 2-100 to 0 points to start this off. The winner of the first fight has carried it all the way to 100 without any pushback from the other squad. So as we head into the tiebreaker third point, again, this is best of 5, but tiebreaker here on the match point first. This first fight is proving to be incredibly crucial here as we head into a much more open sub point.
Yeah, that's an absolutely massive observation there, dividing. And so here comes the snowstorm. Both blizzards laid down and the lamps go down as well for both squads. So many cooldowns already being used at the start of this fight. TVD man does take down Kobe. And as we know in Overwatch 2, if your tank goes down, you don't really stand a chance. So Auburn decides to back out with the help of Charles's speed boost. And UD will able to cap the point. And so dividing, if anything you've said so far, UD should be able to get this 100 to 0. I hope I didn't just jinx them there.
You might have, though, because I'm looking at the ultimates for the Tigers, and you've got 4 of them coming online, everything except the Blizzard. You've taken out Hyper, so you don't have the ability to move in and out as quickly as you would like to for Delaware. Yeah, this is looking like the breaking of a trend here. Delaware isn't even going to try to contest it. They're just going to let Auburn walk onto it. So they have the point now, and they still have all these ults to work with.
What? They committed the window there on the retreat? Are they trying to go back into this? No chance. The Gravitic Flux to Artillery Strike combo is just too strong, and UD is just slaughtered off of that push. They got to go back to spawn and regroup in order to...
Yeah,
and once again, these cruel ice walls.
Yeah, incredibly cruel being able to catch out Carter at the end there, meaning Delaware is sitting at probably last fight territory here, considering how quickly this percentage ticks up. But they do have 3 ultimates already online, and impactful ultimates at that, with the Gravitic Flux, the beat, and the artillery shells online. Charles has the beat of their own, but they can only block so much.
Okay, they go in for the dive onto the Brad, but it wasn't
canceled.
Successful. What was canceled?
The Gravitic Flux was canceled by the Blizzard.
Oh,
and that's
no.
going to finish the third point there. Junkyard goes to Auburn. Ideal Warrior gets frozen up, and the Blue Hens get taken down. Match point, new Junk City point here for Auburn, but they are looking depleted. No ults available. Meanwhile, Delaware has still hung on to the beat. They've still hung on to the artillery shells. So they have the firepower necessary to try and take this one back.
Another canceled ultimate as the accretion from downtown. Kobe stuns TVD out of the artillery strikes. No extra damage being layered in by him. In that previous fight, however, Brad was so patient with the Blizzard, waiting for the brass to be done before he launched it in, and not able to turn the fight for him. UD now on the back foot as Sterap is down as the main bulk of the healing, but UD is committing the sound barrier to try to take this fight. They know they need to commit something in order to get some percentage on the board, but I think it's just a little too late. They're going to want that sound barrier back.
Yeah, that's a tough one, to lose the sound barrier in a losing fight. Now Kobe in this next one is going to be able to use that Gravitic Flux with absolutely no fear, knowing that except for the Immortality Field, there's going to be nothing to stop them from putting down tons of damage onto the University of Delaware. Carter has the Blizzard available, could potentially try and return fire to what happened to his tank on the last fight, but with 60% and counting, something has to happen. TVD Man is back onto the Sojourn, by the way, trying to find an answer.
Oh, sneaky. Is he able to catch? He catches 4, I think, on the side of Auburn with that Blizzard. Carter has come up clutch with this ability. Kobe so low, 45%. There it is. He is now down. UD will be able to take the point now. They have to. Riptide does capitalize a little bit with that ultimate and does get Carter, who will be staggered out. May, not the fastest character in the league, so they're going to be down a member or 2 as Hyper has to go back and taxi Carter to the point.
Yeah, and Delaware used everything that they had at that moment to try and take that one. Auburn has both support ultimates and the Gravitic Flux still available, and one more fight is going to win New Junk City for them. Ideal Warrior, TVD Man, very close to their ultimates, not there yet. Will Delaware be able to hang on long enough, survive this onslaught by the amplification matrix for long enough to get their firepower back?
Oh no, Ideal Warrior is in very much trouble as he was walled off from the rest of his team. Can he survive? He's putting in the Gravitic Flux just to get that little extra mobility into the sky, not even to use it for offense, and the lamp is taken out, and here comes the Gravitic Flux on the side of Auburn. He does catch Ideal Warrior in his counterpart and slams him and squishes him into the ground, but here comes TVD Man with that overclock, just trying to find something, trying to be the hero in this moment for his team. He puts in some damage, but isn't able to capitalize and find any crucial eliminations. Carter does find one on the opposite end, though, so we are tied up, but he spends his life for it. The Sound Barrier comes through from the side of Hyper. Will that be the turning point for this matchup? Ideal Warrior has switched to the Doomfist now. Can he get back in time to put in some damage for his team? The window is also committed to put in a little extra sustain and damage, but Ideal Warrior, he's looking, he's hunting, he wants to find somebody. The UD does flip it back. You're absolutely right, Divide, but here we go. The Brad finds a syrup in the backline. I think that's going to spell doom for UD, but Carter is now on the Tracer. This is a sneaky play. Can he find the backline in this Baptiste, keep his attention away from the rest of his team? Oh, just misses there with the bash to the skull. Can he's keeping his attention, though? Can he get the healing? No, it's just not enough, and Auburn flips the point back. The Overwick time is burning, and Hyper, the last member to fall. The captain dies with the ship, and New Junk City goes to Auburn.
That was an incredible display of resilience and patience from Auburn, understanding that even if they gave up a little bit of ground there and gave up the point, they were not losing the war. They were just losing the battle, right? Being able to come back on this one, as long as they kept the tiptoe onto the point, as long as they won that final fight, they would be able to take home New Junk City. So even though Delaware flipped it back, and I thought, oh my gosh, this might be a momentum turner, Auburn was in full control the entire time. And Delaware, unfortunately, when it came down to that sort of scrappy play style, it seemed like they were pretty consistently getting outmatched and outmaneuvered. And now Auburn finds themselves at series point.
Yeah, and it comes down to how many clutches do you have, you know? Like they were trying to do that at the end with TVD Man with the overclock and Carter going in with the 4-person Blizzard and all that jazz, but really Overwatch is a team game. You have to be able to play that first and foremost, and then the clutch factors can come in at the end. They're reminiscent of the Philadelphia Fusion back in like 2018, 2019, where they were able to just win so many games because of how clutch like Carpe and a number of other players were. But with that being said, we're going to give us and the teams a quick break, so we'll see you back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. We have an electric match for you. Auburn University versus the University of Delaware. We've had a draw. We've had long fights that lasted minutes. We've had everything that you could ever want on your bingo sheet in this matchup. And we are, I feel like, just getting started as we move to the escort map of Route 66.
This series may say 2-0 at the bottom of the screen right there, but trust me, this series has been incredibly close. Auburn has had to fight tooth and nail for every map win today. And as we see there, I mean, Eichenwald ended up in a draw, like you said. So Delaware has kept it close. And as we head into the back half of the series, their backs are against the wall. But as we've seen earlier on in the series, when their backs are against the wall, Delaware tends to shine. So, Route 66 coming up next, and that makes me really excited, especially as someone who wants to see Delaware get their way back into this series, just for the content, because Route 66 is a map that, unlike the Flashpoint map we just watched, has been in the game for a very long time. These players are all very comfortable with it, and because of that, we're going to see a more structured level of play. We're going to be seeing more team-based, more like planned plays, more team centric compositions that allow people to combo off of each other really well. And that is what I think Delaware has been really good at throughout this series.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a little bit more of the same in terms of the Sigma composition being that keystone piece, and then
Yeah.
building everything else after that. So the Bat, Lucio, and then May, and also Bastion. So we'll see if TVD Man goes to the Sojourn or if he stays on Bastion. UD will be starting on the defense, so we'll see. Sojourn has some of those high grounds, like on Big Earls, so we'll see if they do that. But I think the Bastion is dividing. We've discussed time and time again that is just the better pick.
It's really good, especially when your team is playing both, your opponent is playing both a Sigma and a May. It is imperative to be able to break through those barriers as quickly as possible, and no one is going to be doing it as quickly as Bastion. So it really feels like a necessary pick, especially if this mirror matchup continues. But Delaware on the defense here, at least starting off, is going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be switching things up a bit. Of course, if you are starting off on defense, starting off on Big Earls, you don't need a Lucio to speed you around to the point. You're going to be pretty stagnant. So put Hyper on the Iliari, right? Be able to take more of an aggressive poke style composition with the Torbjorn turret as well. Just hang out on top of Big Earls, poke down onto Auburn, see what you can do.
Yeah, I'm very thankful that we have.
Oh wow, Echo Mercy on the other side too. I'm sorry. Wow. Oh yeah, we're switching things up here.
And I love it. Let's get into it. Let's show the folks at home what these players can do mechanically. As the Echo is definitely a high skilled level character. So a lot of space though given up, obviously, so that they can play this high ground to great effect here. So UD will definitely have to capitalize it because there's a lot of meterage on the board. So we have Carter now. He's just laying in a few shots, trying to find some picks. If you ping ahead with those little molten pellets, it does a lot of damage. The pylon from Hyper does go down, so it's 15 seconds. That healing won't be there for the team, but it's okay because Syrup has his back, laying down those healing grenades. And Syrup also laying down the damage. Find that Mercy in the sky.
That is absolutely massive. Severing the Mercy from the Echo puts away a lot of the oomph on this Auburn University comp, and you can see Brad goes down right after Charles does, and Auburn University sent back to spawn to try and rethink their strategy here. Delaware has not had to displace themselves off of Big Earl so far, and with Syrup getting up to that Ant Matrix, in fact, it's on now. They're looking to make sure it stays that way. Obese Chicken has an Ant Matrix on the other side, though.
Yeah, and I like the positioning from Hyper there. That is what Iliadi is supposed to do. She's supposed to take an off angle and take the attention away from the main front line and just lay in a ton of damage. And there it is, another pick onto Charles. She's just too floaty in the sky, and Hyper's able to lay it down, but the Beard has something to say about it. Does find Carter on the back end of it. It's a 4v4 now for each side. Who will find the next pick? We have the Beard. He's coming out of Big Earl. He's trying to find something. He does go for the copy right onto the Sigma and has to lay in the kinetic grass right away. Does get a little bit of shielding for it, but I think UD is backing off. They're ever aware of his presence. They don't want him to get that flux because that's a huge ability that comes through. Iliadi does have the captive sun on the high ground there. Will they decide to use it to turn the tides of this fight? And she does, getting that little high ground advantage. She is floating in the sky, and then the Echo taken down with a ton of shots from that turret. Iliadi still on the hunt, still looking for some headshots. She's trying to get the supports in the back line, and they decide to retreat with the help of the lamp.
Hyper has been hyper aggressive on this Iliari, and it has been incredibly beneficial for Delaware here, being able to have that sort of third source of damage in addition to Carter and TVD, man. It gives Auburn a new layer of cover to think about, and they're having trouble attacking this stout Big Earl's defense that Delaware has set up. Now, they do have 3 ultimates. The Brad is also swapped over to the Hanzo for some more consistent shield break, but Delaware has 4 ultimates. Everything except that Captive Sun is going to be up here with a minute left on the clock.
Only a minute left. Oh my gosh, this match is going by so fast. I think Charles on the Mercy has kind of been the weak point here in this competition. And TVD raining shots from above, gets into the backline, and the Maulin core layered on top. There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide for the side of Auburn as they were just corralled under this little high ground area. The goop is just everywhere. They need to capitalize more on it. Just a super low here from the side of this Sojourn as Ideal Warrior gets in their face, and TVD finally finds that elimination on the back end. UD hold with 30 seconds left on the clock for Auburn to try to cap this point.
This has been an incredible defensive showing from Delaware so far, but with 20 seconds left on the clock, there is going to be one more opportunity for Auburn here. It's going to be rushed, but you have a chance with Charles on the Lucio to be able to get that touch and get those last few meters to unlock the gates of point B. Can Riptide find a pick with this overclock? It's the only ult that Auburn's working with.
And he's looking for some shots now, gets himself to the high ground, does create enough space for the Brad, to find Hyper, and takes the pylon with him. All the buildables from the side of UD are gone. The Goridic Flux comes out from Ideal Warrior to try to find something. He does get Kobe. Finally, a little bit of revenge there for him, but the Brad has something to say about it. He's chatting his way through this one, trying to find every pick that he can. He cannot escape, though, the hyperspheres of Ideal Warrior, and the people come tumbling down for the side of Auburn, and UD will get a full hold.
A full hold for Delaware, saying we are not going down into the sweet night without a fight. My goodness. Again, like we said, when their backs are against the wall, Delaware seems to come alive in a way that is that's really incredible to watch. Instead of panicking, instead of just shutting down and trying to out-mechanic their way to victory, Delaware sticks to the plan. They play a Torbjorn poke-based composition that was clearly very well practiced on Route 66 defense, and it's played to perfection. Auburn simply has too many avenues of damage to have to worry about. They cannot use the Mercy-based composition to do anything, because the second that Charles poked their head around the corner, there were 3 people immediately looking at that Mercy. So Auburn were shut down from the very start, and they were not able to figure it out in time. So now only a fuller hold will end this series on Route 66. And notably, Charles is going to stick onto the Mercy here. Now, of course, again, like I mentioned, you don't need the Lucio here if you're just sticking on the Big Earls, and so you may as well have that damage boost onto Riptide. So I like this play. Oh, unless they go for the train. They are going for the train play here. But Hyper calls it out immediately. They know exactly what's going on. They're holding close. They're holding train. But this does mean that there's a couple of fights that Auburn can take before that golden box of victory comes in.
Absolutely. Hyper is the wily veteran, right? He is the leader of this team, so he's seen every trick in the book. He knows exactly what they're going to do, and he knows that his team will be able to come out on the top of this. And they've now committed very early. Here comes the disruptive shot from the side of TVD. They got to find this May now, but the healing comes in for the Mercy, and that healing is so strong, that pocket. And Riptide is able to find Ideal Warrior on the back end. UD is going to have to retreat for just a moment to re-get all of their players.
Even getting one fight win here on Train is huge, because it's going to drain a full minute off of the clock before Delaware comes in for another fight. Every second here is precious for Auburn with no point movement. So, I mean, this is already, I think, a successful close hold. How far can they go with it? They have the Amp Matrix.
Yeah, they're going to be pushing the envelope now as the window comes down, and just in the nick of time to keep Kobe alive. Can they get some damage off of it? No, the wall comes through to block some of it, and just at the end of that wall, Riptide does find Syrup, and Syrup can't be the one first to go because he's that healing like we were talking about. Oh, the focus beam does come in, but it's a hard target to get down with that ice block. UD's going to have to reset once again.
Wow, and the mercy play comes in huge because usually in this situation, losing one member is just dooms you to losing your close hold. But because you have that res, Charles is able to get in and save Riptide. Auburn now coming in with 4 ultimates, but Delaware not far behind. Carter has the Sigma copy available, and the Brad goes down with Blizzard. This has to be the go button for Delaware.
Absolutely. Can he get the Griffin Flux off? He gets it just in time, but will the copy end? It does, and it doesn't get the damage that he wanted, but he was able to create so much space by putting out the shield, laying in the rock, and there's TBD, man, with this tried and true overclock, is able to find one, and this is just what UD needed to get that space and get this cart moving.
They're able to win that one with just the DPS ults as well. So you're going to have both support ults. You're going to have the Captive Sun, the Ant Matrix, and the Gravitic Flux available. 3 very high-powered ultimates with really, I mean, probably one good fight and one rushed fight before they end up taking this victory. Now, it was a successful close hold for Auburn. They take over half of the time off the clock, but now they have to find a way to take that momentum back with the Blizzard and artillery shells they have.
Yeah, and that's a nice read from the side of Ideal. Could he get something? No, once again, Riptide raining hell from above and gets Syrup in the back line. The whole support line is down from the side of UD. They might have to reset, but no, Ideal's like, I'm going to try to push this card as much as I can, and he does pay his life for it as he's pulled off rocked every ability in the book. All right, so UD will reset here.
The Brad comes up absolutely huge. Hyper, I'm sure, playing an aggressive angle to try and pick off Auburn as came back in, ends up getting picked off themselves. And Auburn now able to get set up on Big Girls once again with less than 60 seconds left on the clock. They hold on to the Blizzard. They hold on to the Amplification Matrix. All of a sudden, the polar hold seems very possible here.
Oh my goodness, this is where the back against the wall is tried and true. This is where they need to have the clutch play. How many more can they bring out? Ideal does have the Gravitic Flux. Will that be the key to victory here for the side of UD? Another copy for Carter as well. Can he find some more value with it? A 3-person Gravitic Flux slams people down. A rock to the face of the Bastion. Can't get him down as the Mercy healing is just too strong. That pocket is just ridiculous, but he's creating the space that he needs to do as a tank. And here comes Carter with the Amplification Matrix, just spewed across the point, laying in the damage, laying in the healing. Everybody from the side of Auburn just has to fall themselves like soldiers onto the point to try to stop the onslaught from UD, and they're able to get the team kill and cap the point.
It was so close, but the clutch play ends up coming in from Ideal Warrior at the end there, using that Gravitic Flux. And I think, yeah, it was Obese Chicken that was just barely not able to get under the safety of that tunnel in time, was sectioned off from the rest of the team, easily taken down before the slam even happened. And without the Baptiste, you're just dependent on mercy heals. You're just trying to survive long enough for Charles to go in and get that res. It happens, but it is too little, too late. The momentum is in Delaware's favor. The full hold really almost happened there, Philly, but it is Delaware who keep us alive going into a 5th map.
I can't believe this dividing. This is absolutely whack, man. But we are going into Esperanza, which is, you know, once again one of these brawly kind of maps here. So as we've seen, the Auburn has had the advantage when it comes to these all-out brawls. So UD is going to be looking to kind of make some set plays, be able to set up in some of these high ground bridge areas, some of these building kind of landscapes, and try to trap Auburn and win some of the team fights that way. So hopefully that's something they've been testing, they've been VOD reviewing for this matchup coming in. But Auburn on the other side, they have to feel confident. They may be tired, right? This has been an exhausting series for both sides, a huge juggernaut of a match. So let's see if they can, you know, bolster themselves up and get this one over the finish line.
Yeah, we will see. Every single map that goes on, it feels like Delaware are clawing away at the Auburn momentum, just trying their best to tilt that pendulum into their favor, and they're very close to doing that here. I think this Esperanza map is going to be, I mean, it is huge, right? Obviously, this is still match point for Auburn, and then, but now, right, you have this thought in your head, like, uh-oh, reverse sweep? Is reverse sweep happening for Auburn? And now that's a thought in the back of Auburn's minds. Are they going to be able to keep calm, cool, and collected as they have been from this point? Because now Delaware is coming and they're putting more pressure on the Tigers than they have all night.
Yeah, it showed a lot of discipline, taking a UD to the limit, UD taking them to the limit as well. So, yeah, you're right. This is the time where they're going to have to, cooler heads will prevail. The leader of their team, their captain, is going to have to rally the troops and say, guys, just one more match. That's all we need. Let's put everything that we have and we can pack it up and go home. And so that's got to be the mentality now in their room as we head into Esperanza. Do you think now will this be a similar composition with the Sigmas and the Lucio backline?
Almost certainly. I do wonder if TVD Man's going to go back over on the Sojourn here. Sojourn is fairly popular here on Esperanza just because there is a lot of kind of mid-range high grounds to take advantage of, and well, we're not gonna say it here yet. Yeah, I wasn't gonna let myself get baited by Delaware quite that easily. They throw out some crazy picks and then go right back onto what I thought before. But TVD Man is going to go on to the Sojourn. So you see those high grounds available on Esperanza, those bridges, those windows. Sojourn's able to take advantage of that very well. She's kind of the ideal range, at the ideal range with her railgun in order to pick up kills from that without getting much pressure of her own. So if there's any map for Delaware to go back to the Sojourn variant, I think it's this one.
All right, but would I like to see if it doesn't work out, doesn't pan out, that they go to the switch early and not late. So that way, because once you get snowballed on this map, if you get to 100+ meters, it's gonna be hard fought to get yourself back there. So, but we're in it now as the Bastion and Turf form comes colliding in, trying to find a pick in that the couple seconds that it's up, but he's not able to get anything. His TVD or not TVD, Ideal was able to skirt the ice wall coming through. Kobe does lay out the kinetic grass, trying to get a little extra shielding there to create his front line to get some sustain. Here comes Ideal, pushing himself forward, willing his team onward to victory. The lamp does come out from zero quite early to keep Ideal alive. His background, they've given up 9 meters of space, and the window comes flying in, but blocked once again. And here comes UD, toppling over the side of Auburn, but they're not out of it just yet. 3 members still alive, and Riptide coming from the back with the huge turret. Can he find somebody? He does find Ideal, but Hyper does come crashing through and gets Kobe down, and UD will able to finally get control of the robot.
Delaware with a beautiful bend but don't break strategy there. They're able to back up as Riptide uses all of those Bastion abilities, forces Delaware off of the point, but they're not able to find the kills necessary for the overall fight win. And then Delaware's able to come back in with the amplification matrix and take the overall first fight, the all-important first fight on the snowbally push maps, especially with this Gravitic Flux coming in and putting so much pressure on Kobe.
Woo! And that is what we wanted to see, Divide. We were talking about that during the break. We wanted to see Ideal come out with a little bit more of a clutch play. Can he get a accretion off when he needs to? Can he find the Gravitic Flux that will save the day? And that one was a good initiating ultimate. And he dodges so deftly that accretion that came in from the side of Kobe. He was able to sidestep it and then launch a rock of his own as Kobe came crashing back down to earth. TBD does put in the overclock to just get the cleanup there, secure those kills, and I think UT will be able to get to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, and look at everyone up on this high ground just making sure that they're in the best situation possible for this eventual recontest. And yeah, playing from long range, this is what we wanted to see from this Sojourn comp. How far are they going to be able to push with this one? They now have the close spawns unlocked, so even if they lose, they'll be back faster. And Auburn is actually just going to make themselves scarce as they go around. They flip sides a little bit. Will this pay off?
Okay, the artillery strike does come flying in, but nothing happening there. The blizzard though from Carter's just tossed willy-nilly, trying to find something, but the Brad says, I'm going to show you up and do you one better, son. And he launches his own snowball and tries to find a couple folks, and he does, but Zero is able to capitalize on some of that havoc there, but he's the only member of UT left standing, and Hyper just delays it just a speck longer, and Auburn is able to recapture the robot, and they're looking to accrue some meterage now.
Yeah, absolutely. Charles, of course, is forced to go back in order to get the Brad. as they are going to be able to get back to the middle, maybe get a little bit of push, but Delaware is going to be able to come back into this one pretty quick. And this is, of course, the benefit of taking that first Esperanza fight, is now you don't necessarily have to push anymore. You just have to make sure that Auburn doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And this fight in this mid area, that's where you want to be. This is where the architecture is most neutral for both sides. It's like going around the pillar, the steps, and things of that nature. So, but the Brad does get an icicle through the window and nails TBD in the dome, sends it back to spawn. But it is now 4v4. And as I say that, the Brad comes up with another crucial kill for his side, and he's finding the way into Ideal Warrior's back, just laying a thermic blaster right into him, and takes the side of UD down basically single-handedly.
Been very impressed by the icicle shots from the Brad this series. Has been coming up clutch with them over and over again when Auburn needs an opening pick the most. You know, Auburn doesn't really have like a sniper character, someone who can get those poke kills unless the Brad is hitting these headshots. And the fact that they are is an incredible boon to this Auburn University comp. It's why the Brad feels comfortable enough playing up here on the high ground and trying to get these icicle headshots.
And the amount of ult percentage he's able to accrue because of those kills. He has the snowball now, and he might just use it, and there he goes. Is UD wise enough to get out of it just in time? Looks like they are able to escape, and there's the counterattack from UD as the Gravitic Flux goes up and goes down. I think only catches one member, though, and they're not able to find any pick of on the side of it. Cypher sacrifices his life to keep his team alive. Everybody's so low. Criticals in the game right now. Syrup is just laying in every grenade he can to keep his team up, but it's just not going to be enough to sustain the onslaught coming through from the side of Auburn. Ideal tries to keep himself as best he can, but once again, the Brad's there to lay the endothermic in his back, and Auburn is able to cap the point.
They cap the point, they get early spawns, and they only needed to use the Blizzard to do it, which means Riptide, Kobe, Obi's Chicken, and Charles are going to have their ultimates available for what is a crucial fight here for the lead of the match, and actually they're just going to take it. Delaware isn't able to get the recontest in time because of the wall from the Brad right in the middle of the road. They can't touch. Auburn has the lead now.
My goodness, everything just went right there for the side of Auburn. They layered all those ultimates to perfection, and here comes the overclock from the side of TPD. They need to try to get some value out of it. They do get the Lucio, but the Brad comes in with another Blizzard. How many has he gotten so far? That has to be at least 3 or 4, and that continues the push going for Auburn.
Your name may be the Brad, but I think right now you are earning the title of the Chad. Auburn University's May has taken over this Esperanza series right now, has just been doing so much from close range, from long range, and Delaware cannot counter it. They're forced to back off because of the amplification matrix, but with almost 100 meters to their name, this push has absolutely done the job that they needed it to. 3 minutes now left on the clock, and Delaware's chances at a reverse sweep are starting to slip through their fingers if they can't reverse their fortunes here.
Yeah, but we've seen this once or twice before, my friend, that when the back's against the wall, that's when they come up clutch. There goes the Gravitic Flux to just corral everybody back under this bridge. They're all grouped up now. This is when those Hyper Fears are going to do the most damage. Ideal goes diving in and tries to find something. The lamp has to be committed to keep him alive. He does have to go around the corner just to receive a little bit of healing, and so Carter takes the front line to land some icicle shots. There goes that turret form, but it is out, and the wall goes in to block the window, but it's quickly thwarted as the damage amplification is just too much. Auburn takes control of the robot. Another amplification matrix coming out from Sully this time to just bring everybody. This is a back and forth, a tug-of-war match as everyone's trying to fight for this corner. The robot doesn't know which way to turn. He's probably complaining if I know the game as well as I do, but the Kobe now has the Gravitic Flux and he's looking to use it. He's going to try to find some geometry, find some way to float his way to the back line and grab some folks. There's that Gravitic the grasp needed to keep himself alive. The sound barrier committed from the side of Charles to keep his team in it, but there's that Gravitic Flux as UD was rallied backwards, but Hyper comes in clutch once again for his team to keep everybody alive, but the Blizzard goes flying in, solidifying everybody to the ground, and once again, after a minute and a half of fighting, Auburn wins.
Yeah, that could be I mean, we're still looking at 2 minutes left on this series, but didn't that feel like just both teams putting literally everything they had into that ping pong match, and Auburn coming out on top, extending their lead? This is looking rough for Delaware now. That was a big chance for them, and now they have a 50-meter deficit to try and make up in just 90 seconds. Auburn doesn't have any ultimates here. Carter gets the pick. Delaware should be able to get this fight win with just the amplification matrix, but the question is the damage already done here for Auburn? You're going to be able to get the point. You're going to be able to get the cart moving, but you still have so many fights you need to win, and a bunch of them are probably going to be in overtime.
Yeah, it's like, what, 3 or 4 more fights now just to get the meterage that you need, and this is going to be huge in terms of how they layer the ults, right? They can't just put 3 or 4 in at one time and win one fight. Yeah, sure, you'll get a couple extra meters, but that's not going to get you to the W, and that's what they want. So Carter's going to have to be really sneaky about how he uses this snowball, because that will be able to win a fight for him if they can catch 2 or 3 people in it. So he's looking for it, he's posturing to it, but it was a little too easily read as they were able to thwart that attack. He has to use his cooldowns to stay alive. TVD man does use the turret form to get some people up and down, and there goes that gravitic flux. That was the one ultimate they needed. They take down the tank, a crucial member for the side of Auburn, and can they find any stragglers after? There is one person on the point, and it looks like Auburn will retreat after that one.
Delaware, once again, here we are, backs against the wall. Multiple fights needed to win in order to take us to a map 6. But if you're going to do it, that was an incredible first fight to do it. All you needed was a gravitic flux. You get a pick. You're done. Bing, bang, bong, and Auburn University really, again, in a situation where one more fight win gets them the victory. They've been here so many times. Is Esperanza finally where it'll happen?
A ton of ults come flying through. The gravitic flux is onto TBD, so then they commit the sound barrier to keep him alive. He was able to get the artillery strike off just in the nick of time, but the blizzard comes in after him, and then Carter does get a 2K to keep his team in it, and it's just the Brad trying to keep the point from pushing forward, and it is overtime now. UD with no ultimates on the board, still 2 support ultimates in the bank for the side of Auburn. They're going to have to contest this for using one of them. The speed boost from Charles is going to be clutch here to get everybody in back in time. We're a close
Widowmaker swap.
Let's see, an opening pick.
Yeah, the Brad looking to go a little bit sneaky here, going around the side, but you've lost your Baptiste. This has taken way too long for the Brad. You're forced back, and now there's a Widowmaker inside the team. I don't think this swap went the way that Auburn was hoping it would, but we are still bouncing back and forth, picks from both sides. The spawn advantage is in Auburn's favor.
My gosh, but the coordination from UD is immaculate at this point. But the Charles is just too shifty. Just a few more meters there for UD to win in overtime. Is it possible? It looks like the Baptiste tries to get back, and a huge switch from the Brad to get to the transfer, but a hack TVD man, a clutch stall on this hero with Samra every time. And it looks like UD will be able to win the point. What?
Oh man, I really think Auburn just got desperate there. I think Auburn, they had the ultimates, they had the comp, they knew what they had to do, but they go for a Widow pick at the very end of the map, and it ends up destroying their synergy. The Widow took too long to get into position. You didn't have the consistency of that May comp anymore. I think honestly, I hate to say it because Auburn was playing so well up to that point, but I think they really crumbled under the pressure a little bit. They were in a situation where they needed to come up big and they couldn't. And now the reverse sweep is a very real as we go to map 6. It's 6 maps. I knew this was happening the second that I can hold Tide.
My goodness. And do I blame the Brad? I don't. Okay, that's a very Brad move to go to for the hero play of the Widowmaker, trying to get one pick to save the team. I mean, that was his map. He was all over the place on that May, getting picks, getting like 4 or 5 blizzards, walling people off, causing all sorts of mayhem. So he was probably feeling himself. He was like, I got this. My aim's feeling steady. I'm feeling like I could save the team with just one pick, one dome shot in the back line. It'll be all over. And he almost had it. He got the jump onto the Baptiste, right, of Sully, but he wasn't able to secure the kill in time. They were able to turn on him and take him down. And from there, they were able to rotate back, use their communication skills, and just get everybody down on the side of Auburn one by one. And from there, it was just a stall tactic to try to prevent any more meterage. And unfortunately, they fell to it. So we go to map 6 on Ilios. And if it was anything like Oasis, we're probably going to 3 control points in this one.
Of course. I mean, it couldn't go any other way at this point. We have been battling back and forth throughout this series, but now all of the momentum is in Delaware's favor, right? We are looking at a situation where now Auburn, we could see it. Again, do I blame the Widow swap from the Brad? Not necessarily, but the May was working so well for you, right? I think that there was a little bit of panic in the Tigers there. And now they have to play one more map against a Delaware squad that has remained rock steady throughout the 5 maps before this. They do not seem they're unshakable. There's nothing that you can do. There's no situation that you can put these blue hens in that seems to phase them, that seems to make them panic. They have a plan. They stick with that plan no matter what. And that is what's gotten Delaware in this situation. And the Tigers now have to try and take down the team that feels like they were one fight away from taking it on Eichenwald. They were one fight away from taking it on Route 66. They were one fight away from taking it on Esperanza. 3 strikes, and luckily you're not out because draws are a thing on hybrid maps. But the fourth strike surely would do it.
And you know what, Dividing? This is where the hours come in, right? This is the hours that you've been playing, the hours that you've been grinding with your team. Your eyes hurt, your wrists are hurting, your fingers are cramping. This is the time where you have to dig deep in a really tough matchup that has been clawed out from either side. One misstep is causing the total collapse of each of these maps and putting the point in the other team's favor, just like you were mentioning. So this is where you really have to shore yourself up, really have to refocus yourself, and really dig deep for the people next to you as you're moving into this last one.
Oh, man. So I think that as we wait for the map to load in, this first role that we get, the first sub map, will say a lot. I mean, both teams are probably still going to run with the Sigma-based compositions, but there are some different variations you could go with it, depending on whether you want to roll with, I don't know, like an Echo Mercy. If you get Lighthouse, is very popular. You could go for something like that. If you're in Ruins, you might want to put DTV Man on the Sojourn to take advantage of those long sight lines. And it is going to be a Lighthouse to start. So both sides probably going to run a lot of the same. They have about 10 seconds to decide whether or not you're going to run basically the same thing that you've been running all day, keep it the same, or go for something new. Auburn University going with the good old-fashioned composition, but Delaware are coming out with something entirely different. It is a Nanoblade composition with Diva Tank. This is a complete left turn from what Delaware has been putting out all day.
This is a wily comp, and it's a dive, right? They're going to be looking to dive a target while Hyper is distracting them in an off angle. So you can see him there on the high ground just laying in some shots, and when they make a rotation, they're going to be looking to dive onto him. So I do like this. Let's see if it works and see how long they stick onto it. The Diva Matrix is really good at negating the Bastion for a good amount of time, but the rock to the face and with the spell Doom, the nice anti coming through from the side of Sully, just causing mayhem and havoc in the backline of Auburn, but they still are in control of the point, and the percent is accruing in their favor. Another anti comes through, but this time it is blocked. Oh no, the splash does get Kobe, and he is set back to spawn with it, and UD is able to cap the point.
And the first Ana of the day comes up huge for Delaware to start off. Already the Nano Boost is available, as well as the Captive Sun. Just goes to show you the playmaking potential of these Ana players, and it's going to force a dive composition to come out from Auburn as well. Okay, so we are seeing dive v dive, a matchup we have not seen from either of these teams so far. But I think the important thing is Delaware has started this trend and forced Auburn to play reactively. You have them in the kind of headspace you want them in.
Woo! And a first pick there from Carter and a double slash, taking 2 down because he had the nano boost with it. He doesn't even need the blade, just the sword on his own to get the job done. And UD is able to keep the point in that instance. Kobe trying to take a 1v1 against Ideal, but Ideal, I think, is a better D.Va. He's been playing D.Va on this map a number of times this season, and he's able to find him there with a couple headshots with those micro rockets. Auburn is still trying to contest, though. They're trying to get a couple members onto the point. That Tracer, though, does get antied, so has to back out just to spec. TD man with his tried and true overclock, looking to find somebody, looking to beat the hero once again, and keep his team in this one and take the first sub map off of Auburn. The Captive Sun still in the wings though for Hyper. He's going to be looking to use it for a 1v1 or to clean up the mess that his team will put out for him. And D.Va Bomb as well, so a ton of ultimates in the bank. But here's a Pulse Bomb. Could that spell doom for the side of UD? It will get eaten for lunch. No, the D.Va does get taken out of mech, and the bomb comes through to try to just stay alive just a little bit, and a huge mess of damage coming in. But it is mitigated just for an instance as it is healed up, and TVD man doing his best to find something, but it's so low with no healing as Syrup was taken out early in the match, and UD will fall finally, but about 86% on the clock for them.
Yeah, it's going to get themselves into a one-fight territory. Nicely done from Kobe to be able to dive on and take out Syrup on this Ana. Is going to be the player that Auburn is hunting more than anyone on this field. And so they're able to take the point with 4 ultimates intact, but they still have an uphill climb here with Delaware having plenty of fights on the board to try and take that final 12%.
Yeah, the Kasune Rush comes in to allow more healing onto that D.Va as they were so low. The overclock from Riptide is online, trying to find somebody, but UD just hides in that building, so he just spends a shot taking out the pylon. Ideal decides to commit to the point, but I think he's just a little too late. Here's that nano blade, but the sound barrier just too strong. Can he get somebody? He does get one person out of it, but I don't think that's going to be enough. The Captive Sun does go splashing through to claim Charles's life, but UD, are they able to have the point? No, it's still being contested as Kobe just comes flying in and out. There's that healing. It's 105 seconds per second. It's just not enough to keep him up, but the Pilot D.Va is still in form, still can lay down some damage, lay down some shots. Here comes Carter trying to find a different angle, but Obese Chicken with a headshot with that kunai taking out the Shimada brother. And there's a double kill for him, and I think that'll be the point flip. Oh no, the point will stay on the side of Auburn. My goodness.
Yeah, Auburn's been keeping it up this whole time as they actually pass Delaware in point percentage, 90% and counting with the D.Va Bomb and the Pulse Bomb available. Delaware's going to be able to get a touch with Carter, but the question is, did that happen quick enough to get overtime? It did, but I mean, everyone is so staggered out here for Delaware. This Lighthouse map started off so good for the Blue Hens, but Auburn has clawed their way back into this one. After they get back in with the help of the Kitsune Rush from Obese Chicken and a celebratory D.Va Bomb, Auburn University are 1 round away from preventing the reverse sweep. But Philly, how many times have we said that Auburn is 1 fight away throughout this series? It's happened so many times.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Auburn won the first sub map on Oasis by the skin of their teeth, and then UD came back and went back and forth from there. So an absolute firework display at the end there. Bombs flying everywhere, micro rockets soaring through the air. So a really hard fought battle from both of these squads. It looks like UD and Auburn will kind of go back to their tried and true the meta composition, if you will, with the Sigma coming through and the Bastion and May on the DPS line. So we'll see. Hopefully we get some boots into the well. Maybe there will be some hero plays coming out from these Lucios.
Yeah, Lucio's coming out. Also, both teams going back to those Bastions as well. It's back to the default comms from both sides. Both teams feeling very confident in this Sigma Bastion May composition. We'll see who comes out on top. Again, Auburn playing for the series here.
Yeah, fully committing in now is UD as they put in the turret form first, trying to lay in some damage. It is walled off, but Kobe, knowing is getting a little bit low now. He decides to take the aggressive as the Kinetic Grasp cannot suck in the rock, but Hyper does find Riptide on the back of it, but his team is very low as he went for the DPS So he's stuck in that little corner, trying to find some headshots, but he was in a safe little position as well. Now UD is trying to capitalize, trying to move forward. Hyper trying to keep his team alive, doing the best that he can. A window comes out from the side of OB's chicken to try to turn the tides in his favor, but Hyper takes him down, says, no thank you, friend. And there goes Toby trying to lay a rack from downtown as a window from across the way from the side of Syrup tries to lay in some healing for his team and keep him in the fight. Hyper doing a freaking deadlift out here, just getting so many kills to flip the point in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, Hyper was just hanging out behind Auburn that entire fight, just booping him around, putting in damage, being a nuisance, and buying time, most importantly, for Delaware to recollect themselves. I mean, when you're a Lucio bouncing around on the walls like that, it's almost not worth trying to kill him because it's going to be almost impossible to track, and that's what Auburn thought, but Hyper is able to find the plays necessary to give Delaware that first point control with the ability for 4 ultimates in this next fight.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. And here goes. Kobe starts it off with the Gravitic Flux. I don't think he catches anybody, but even if he did, he got stunned out of it, which causes Charles to put in the sound barrier. The Blizzard comes through from both sides. Who will come out on top? It looks like Auburn will, with the rain from above as the artillery strike lays into the side of Auburn, but it's just not enough for them to keep the point in their favor. And this one will go the way of Auburn.
Yeah, very flashy fight. Both teams putting in several ultimates. It seems the Blizzard from the Brad ends up being the finishing below there for the Tigers to get a point control back in their favor quite quickly. But notably, Ideal Warrior hung on to the Gravitic Flux through all that, and Charles ended up committing the beat in the last one. So it's going to be a fairly uncontested damage for Ideal Warrior whenever they decide to use it here. Could be a huge win condition as long as you're able to handle the obese chicken immortality field.
Yeah, that is huge, but we've seen Kobe lay those accretions with great skill and knock him out of a couple of those ultimates before, so we'll see if he's able to do it there, and he's not. Ideal goes flying in through the sky and is able to get Riptide in the backline. He is moving forward, so much aggression, so much tankiness as he puts in the grass to just suck up some of that damage, but here comes the window now, and there's the wall to block it off. There's that sequence of ultimates we were talking about, but can the Sigma stay alive? Yes, just barely as the burst comes through. Here comes the artillery strike laying down into the ground. Doesn't get anybody as they scatter, but it is enough to get Syrup out of the way, and he is sent back to spawn. So Ideal just says, I'm taking a drink. See you later.
Yeah, it happened at the end. I mean, you were going down anyway, so you may as well have a little fun. Jump into well, and Auburn University. Here we go, Philly. I'm going to say the curse word. One fight away from taking map 6 and taking this series. They have the Gravitic Flux Blizzard combo. It seems like 2 incredibly impactful ultimates, as well as the beat from Charles coming up in just a moment. And all Delaware's really going to be working with is a Blizzard from their side.
Yeah, who will be the hero in this story? Will it be the Brad? Will it be Carter as who does the snowball second? And it is Carter, but the lamp is just too strong to keep everybody alive. Can they even get to him? No, Carter takes his life trying to get the tank down, and now UD is on the back foot here as it's a 4v5 matchup, and as I say, there goes Syrup, and I think that will spell the end for UD and the end of this series. But let's see if UD can keep it going. No, Ideal comes on the Doom Fist, and there it is. That will be the overtime wick burning as TVD just launches himself into the well, and see you later.
That's an unfortunate end for Delaware, a team that was clawing their way back into this series. Auburn take down the reigning EGF champs. They take down the arguable best team in EGF as newcomers and say, we are here to play. We deserve to be in that best team conversation. The Auburn University Tigers, after a marathon of a series, and in a series where it seemed like all of the momentum was against them, they pull through in map 6 to take the 3-2 victory.
What a game we just had, fighting. We will be seeing these two in the playoffs for sure, 100%. And they're going to be, new strategies, new metas coming out from both of these sides. So we'll see who comes out of the victor on that one. But for this time, Auburn takes the cake, hands the first loss over to the Blue Hens. But I'm sure, they're tired after this one, but they got to be proud of themselves. They played really well. They had a lot of clutch plays. They played as a team. team. Always a pleasure to watch and cast with you. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes for both of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be, I mean, yeah, you hit the nail right on the head, right? This is what is so great about EGF. These teams are so intertwined. They play each other several times. And so it really allows these rivalries to build, right? Auburn and Delaware, this is not the last time they're going to see each other this year, whether that's regular season or final or the playoffs. It is going to be, it's going to be a marquee matchup when it happens. And Delaware is definitely going to have revenge on the mind. Auburn is going to have maintaining a dynasty on theirs. So this now has the makings of a very, very good EGF rivalry moving forward, and I'm really excited to see where it goes.
For sure. And if I'm at any team coming up against Auburn in the next, 3 or 4 weeks, I'm gonna be a little bit scared. I'm gonna be trembling in my boots just a little bit because this team is red hot. Like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, they have been stomping through the competition. And yeah, they came up against a brick wall, but they bashed right through it this time as well. So they this is a scary team. They're playing very coordinated. They're alt cycling perfectly. They're comboing their abilities to great effect as well. So this is definitely a team you do not want to mess with, especially when they're playing in such great form. So I believe we're going to have an interview with one of the players. Is that we're working on getting that set up? It will be one of the folks from Auburn. So we are going to have Kobe, who has been the main tank player. So we will have a couple of questions for him, but I think we're going to go to a quick break as we get that set up for you. So stay tuned for that one. Welcome back, everybody. We have Kobe, the tank player from Auburn University. Kobe, how you feeling after that electric match?
It's just another day, man. I'm glad we won, but it's just another day, you know?
Hey, you were telling us before you had some fire to spit. Where is that?
Well, you know, man, I thought about it, and it was just any other game. You know, these guys, we probably could have 3-0'd. I'm gonna be honest. We trolled Eichenwald really hard. You all saw that. Yeah, we trolled a little bit. We trolled Esperanza, but yeah. I'm calmed down a little bit. I'm calmed down a little bit.
I mean, if it was, I mean, it's another day at the office for sure. But I mean, going into this one, Delaware, they came away as the EGF champions last year. They've really been making a name for themselves in the CECC East. So this is a team that has a level of pedigree in EGF specifically. Was there anything that you guys were doing to prepare for the matchup?
No, it's just any other team for us. I honestly didn't know that much about them. I saw they placed pretty well in ABC, but apart from that, cool, they got a pedigree, but I think EGF runs through us till further notice. At least after tonight.
I mean, I can't argue with you on that one. One more question from me. Take me into a little bit of the team comms at the start of map number 6. You guys have been playing for over 2 hours at this point. You took 2 of the first 3 maps in a draw. Then Delaware claws themselves back into the game. What were the comms like to steel yourselves for the eventual victory on Ilios?
Well, it's crazy because, from an outside perspective, you're thinking, oh my God, Delaware has all the momentum. Auburn's mentally boomed. They just lost the last 2 maps in a row. Honestly, we're just completely level-headed, focusing on what comes next, how we want to take fights, what comps we want to run. And it's pretty good seeing them on the Diva comp because that's something we're really comfortable with. So after we saw that, we swapped and, we kept level head.
Yeah, absolutely massive. The cooler heads will prevail. And so who's the leader on that team, like, telling everybody to calm down? Is it you? Is it somebody else?
No, I easily get boomed. I'm gonna be honest. If you're in a ranked game with me, you'll find that out very quickly. It's the Brad. The Brad's been our cornerstone, our rock of our franchise, so to speak, for the last 4 years. So it's yeah, it's always him.
Excellent. All right. Well, the final thing is, who do you want to shout out while you're on the cast?
Oh man, I gotta shout out my boy Bassem Hussein and Najim Imtiaz. Those are our coaches for our team, and they do so good.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the victory. We look forward to casting more of your matchups and seeing how well you progress in the EGF season. So thanks so much for joining us. For those of you at home, we still have one more. Welcome back, everybody. It's HD Philly B here alongside the ever eccentric and electric Madi. We appreciate you sticking with us for our second match of the evening. We have Bowling Green State University versus Marquette University. Madi, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really hyped up. The whole last stream, I wasn't here, of course, casting, but I was watching. And if we have any indication of how our next game is going to go, it's based off of the last series where it was game 6. It was head to head up until overtime, and that's exactly what I'm expecting going into our next series, which is Bowling Green State, as you said, versus Marquette University. Two birds going against each other, the Falcons and the Golden Eagles. Funnily enough.
Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic matchup. Bowling Green is going to be looking for their first win of the season against a pretty evenly matched Marquette squad. We know Grant on the tank is the linchpin of this team, so they're going to need to rally behind him if they want to see this one through and get some points on the board. On the other hand, Marquette is looking to expand upon their first win of the season over Montana that they had last week and roll over Bowling Green in this matchup. They've had a really tough schedule this season, so they want to be able to take games off of opponents when they can. The backline of Marquette is what I'm going to be looking at, as they are incredibly strong. So I'm going to be looking for them to make a match impact on this matchup tonight.
Absolutely. And if we could see, again, a lot of things that we've been seeing a lot during the series, especially of tonight and on both streams, a lot of the Sigma composition has been working so well throughout most of the maps today. And it's so interesting to seeing the meta kind of shift, even collegiate and collegiate esports, where you would always see the more dominating figures of the Winston, for example, or the Reinhardt. But now we saw a little bit of Diva action today. We saw a lot of Sigma, lots of that Brawl composition, which has been on Reinhardt, has shifted beautifully into the Sigma instead. So lots of oh
A little,
no, it happens. It
it's
happens.
happens. It's that residence hall Wi-Fi that kind of gets us at some point. So in going off what Amadi's saying in terms of the Sigma composition, really that what comes down to is the DPS. The DPS is what influences what tanks you have to play. And so Bastion is the one of the tried and true DPSs right now, and who counters him very effectively and kind of in an easy rotation of abilities. And that's the Sigma. Sigma's going to put out the grasp to capture some of the bullets. After that's done, he can put down the shield. All right, if he comes through, he has the rock. So there's plenty of different attributes and abilities that the Sigma has that thwart the Bastion. And then from there, okay, what DPS will encounter the Sigma? Okay, it's the Mei. The Mei doesn't can go through the grasp, freeze up the Sigma who's already really slow, walk through the shield, whatever, right? So it's all a domino effect of who is countering who to then who is countering who, right? And so we'll have to see if when Bastion changes, that's probably when the tank will change as well. But for now, Bastion and Sigma are here to stay. Let's see if both of these teams decide to use that composition in the series tonight.
And they should be. Like you said, there's no reason why you shouldn't be using Sigma, Bastion, and Mei, as they have a very beautiful cohesion with one another. This is our map pool of the night, and we see my goat personally. I can wall second map. Very excited to see what we may be cooking on that map. But to start us off is always going to be the beloved control map. And today we're going over to Oasis, which all three maps, like most other control maps, give so much creativity and a lot of different positionings you can take, especially because most of them have a high ground or a lot of cover to them, especially university. For example, there are a lot of spaces that they could really utilize, and a lot of different comps. Typically, you're probably going to be seeing the Brawl comp as always, especially the Sigma, for example, which is really weird to say Sigma Brawl, right? But that Brawl comp is going to be the biggest factor or the most showed comp here on control maps, as we've seen in the past with previous series, previous weeks, previous year.
Yeah, man. You know, I'd like to see a team just kind of break the meta, break the mold a little bit, and go with the character that they are good with. So, like for example, in our last series, we had the switch over to the Diva on that final Ilios control. I'd like to see something similar, right? Maybe the Doomfist, maybe the Diva, maybe even the Junker Queen, somebody that can just get past that Sigma quite easily and just wreak some havoc. But with that kind of dive, you're going to need the supports to follow it up, right? Sometimes it's hard to hit those shots as Baptiste as your tank is diving all around, bouncing around, trying to cause mayhem, right? So then you switch up your supports. Okay, maybe you go Kiriko, but then Kiriko has to dive in to try to also maintain your tank, and then she's exposed. So it's all this. It's the game. It's the meta, right? What is the most effective tactical advantage your team can put out here? And I think for right now, the easiest to run, the one that seems more conducive, is this Sigma composition.
Absolutely. And as you're saying about the dive, the supports again are your biggest factor. They have to hit their shots. If you're playing Ana, for example, very popular in that dive composition and having her own, typically the Brig as her own shield, you have to hit your shots. Same as Kiriko, like you said, very exposed when she does teleport in, and a lot of times tends to Suzu just to get some invulnerability out. But we should be starting, our teams are getting ready as we speak. Hopefully we're gonna get in there as soon as possible. And yes, we're about to go right in there, and we're gonna get this kicked off in just a couple of seconds. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are transitioning right in, and here we are on Ilios. And if these comps are anything of a glimpse into what we're looking at today, we are seeing the Sigma. We may be seeing the Soldier. Grant, I need you to stop trolling me for a second. We will be seeing at least a Sigma, maybe the Diva Bastion, be really interesting. But otherwise, Mickey, she is on the Mercy right now. Very interesting choice, especially paired with the Baptiste. I'm expecting a last minute switch. Oh, we're staying with the Mercy. Oh, we're having an interesting day. That damage boost Sojourn may be a problem after all.
You know, I actually really like this, Madi, because Soldier can get to these high grounds pretty easily using those legs, whereas the Bastion kind of struggles to get to these areas. So I think that is going to be what Marquette is looking to do, is get to the high grounds, but Night Levels has something to say to that as he snipes Royal Ranger in the back line, and it looks like already they're going to be out of deficit, but here comes your Mercy, your tried and true, bringing him back to life. But Actan does suffer for it as the rest go cascading downwards and sent back to spawn.
Yeah, Baptiste does go down first. That's usually your cue to get out of dodge. You cannot survive without your Baptiste with all that area of healing. That's how Broadcom stay alive for so long. They're all on the Baptiste. Once he goes, you kind of just have to back it up because Mercy cannot do all the healing unless she has Valk, for example. Now, having to force a reset here, Marquette has to push into this kind of where Sigma does shine is this long-range action plan. So I love the flexibility in going both up close and also forcing all this space that they can't enter. Now here comes the Bastion turret, forcing everyone to get away and has to go through cover. The Sigma shield is crackling, is low, and is in fact gone. I love the Russian from Evan to get the team into everyone's face and take Axe Hand out. Firstly, forcing the most, honestly, forcing Marquette back up once again because, again, your main DPS, your main hard hit has fallen. We have to back up. We have to taxi our Baptiste, our Bastion back. And this is gonna continue to go in Bowling Green's favor with almost 50% on the board.
Yeah, and you know, the biggest piece here is that Lucio being able to move people effectively in and out of these spaces, being able to take space, give up space, recontest space, right? And that's kind of hard to do with the Mercy. The Mercy's at the beck and call of her Guardian Angel ability, just floating back and forth. But we have a huge battle in this tiny room now as the Gravitic Flux is tossed out. And it looks like not the Gravitic Flux, the Artillery Strike gets tossed in and claims 2 lives on the side of Marquette. It's a full team kill for Bowling Green, and they hold the point after that.
I felt so bad for the Mercy, popping Valk out of the room, trying to get as much healing as possible. Mickey, unfortunately, falling into the artillery cannon. But on the bright side, we only use Valk. We have 4 ultimates lined up on Marquette's side, and that can be contested with the sound barrier coming in from Evan if we do get the overclock, if we do get the Guerrilla Flux, which we definitely most certainly do. We have to use a lamp though, because that tank was super duper low, and unfortunately that is Shady Snare going down for the count, forcing Night Levels to come out with the overclock, and that secures the objective. No one able to actually contest in time before Bowling Green was able to just kind of barricade themselves in front of the objective, not letting anyone pass that wall, the wall of Sigma, going past the turret form and going past that amazing support backline as well. Nothing could be done, and now the first point in our control map is going towards Bowling Green. Marquette has to get something situated here going into map 2. I'm sorry, not map 2, round 2.
Yeah, I mean, like we were mentioning at the top, Grant is going to be the one you should look out for at home, folks. And there he was at the final moments, putting that accretion into stomps, preventing it for the Gravitic Flux to completion and preventing all of that damage. And from there, they were able to just take everybody down one by one. A clean, full hold on the side of BGSU in that round 1. But here we go into round 2.
I'm a big fan of everyone going up to the high ground. We have the Mace switch from Axehand, and that might be a really big game changer here in favor of Marquette. And looks like we're taking a trade here. 1 support for 1 DPS. It is an 8-1-8. What can we see here? As I think everyone's just starting to drop down. Yes, absolutely do. They had to go back and retreat a little bit further. But Reach taking care of Night Levels with a quickness. And now in the advantage state of being on the high ground, Reach might not be able to get contested as we see Bowling Green slowly but surely falter and fall. Sage are not able to do anything with no backline to help him out besides Evan on the Lucio. So that's finally a point. The objective being secured for now for Marquette. Now, how long can they hold this? That's what is the biggest question here, because Bowling Green can hold it for a very long time. Can Marquette do the same thing, or can Bowling Green push right through and get rid of their most important units, that being the supports?
Yeah, that was really nice by Reach. He was charging up the railgun shot on the tank and some of the other members, and then took the 1v1 against his counterpart Night Levels and was able to win it quite easily with that charged rail shot. And once he was on the high ground, nobody was getting up there to contest it. He was just raining shots from above. But here we go, a massive Gravitic Flux from the side of Grant. Can he save his team? Once again, so many people low on the side of Bowling Green. He's got to charge his in with those hyperspheres. He's trying to get that Lucio, but he's so elusive, and the team follows up after and is able to secure the kill. Only the remaining Sigma left on the point, and he goes tumbling down afterwards. The point flip comes through for BGSU.
That Gravitic Flux was pretty much game-changing in that moment. I'm glad that it actually worked out wonderfully for Bowling Green because of the fact that, you did have a couple of, Marquette on top of Grant the entire time. But again, props to your supports as always. Now, this is the hole that I was talking about. Bowling Green can hold for a very long time. The shield's going to be kissing a little bit right there in the little corridor. But Marquette coming in with the aggression, immediately focusing our Bastion here. But the Lamp does save him for a little bit longer. Can we get a little bit of suck? No, thankfully, Reach takes care of that Bastion for Stomps. As we see Marquette starting to take it back once more. That May has been a big problem for Bowling Green as of right now. The suck cannot do much versus May's primary fire, and that is what's going to secure them the point or turn over the point in their favor once more. Over 50%, very close percentages right here. Anything can still happen.
Yeah, this is going to be a back and forth battle as each team is winning these fights in the neutral. A couple of check marks, though, on the side of each team, so we'll see if they can use these ultimates to great effect. That was a nice play there. There was some hero accretions trying to stop the incoming Gravitic Flux, but it wasn't able to prepare. Here comes the sound barrier for Mickey to keep their team alive, and the Axe Hand was laying in the blaster to get some folks down, but Night Levels has something to say about it as he lays in some shots into the back line, and it's just a 1v1, people finding their counterparts on the back end. But here comes Grant once again, the hero play, slamming people into the ground. Can he get the Sojourn? No, the Sojourn's just too quick, and he has the Loose now to contest with. Can he get the Rock? He does, right to the face, and that'll be another flip for the side of BGSU.
I just want to compliment how even these teams are, because you're seeing almost every single team fight, it flips over and over and over again. That's just how balanced, that's how amazing both the teams and their players are playing their characters and playing this round so effectively. Now we're holding onto the high ground for Bowling Green. You can be seeing where's Marquette going to be coming from, and it's definitely going to be through the cover of the hallway right there, going over to the high ground, getting the Gravitic Flux, and that's a humongous lamp. That could have been a very huge Gravitic Flux, but thankfully that lamp does save the day for a little bit longer. And as we say that, look, Marquette able to kind of able to utilize that to their advantage. They basically got most of Bowling Green down for the count. Just a Doomfist swap from Grant is all they have to contest a point, but just narrowly missing the time to contest. Finally, Marquette, a point on the board. It is round 3, 1-1 right now. Anything can still go as we move into this next map of Oasis, University.
Yeah, I mean, that was a massive Gravitic Flux coming out from the side of Stomps. He got 4 people in that little room. The lamp did come down to save him, but the damage still comes through, right? The lamp only prevents you from dying, and once the lamp is gone, you can't heal everybody up that fast. So he was able to lay in there with those hyperspheres and just get everybody down after that. So it was a clean Gravitic Flux from him. No sound barrier on the side of Evan to help his team stay alive. This is definitely, this could go the distance, Monty. We could have another, game 5, game 6 in our hands if this tug of war is going to come to fruition.
I really hope so. It may be 10 o'clock, but I'm always here to watch some Overwatch, please. Now, we are seeing Bowling Green go over to the high ground, and I love this because you get a lot of cover, and you have the height advantage as well going in. And again, even though Marquette is on the point right now, it's not quite unlocked yet, so anything can happen in this first fight, and it's just pressure on pressure. Can we out-pressure our Sigmas? Can we out-pressure our DPSs that are in the cover area? And it looks really even. You're going to have to drop down now or never. Now that Marquette is already on the point, that Sojourn does have Railgun. Be super careful here. And Reach does fall first. I give Bowling Green a good advantage day as they kind of push in, utilizing the Lucio amp boost for healing. Just keep the team alive a whole lot longer. But although we did get the first pick here, it is going to be Marquette getting almost 20% already on the board for control. And it's going to have to force Bowling Green to kind of play a little more passively until they can get their whole team back. And it looks like they do. But as I say that, they all die, Philly. As I say that. And the team together, absolutely not.
I mean, Marty, an incredible stall coming out from Marquette, and it with Sigma, Lucio, and May, those are the stall people that you want on the point to be the last folks standing. And with that, they were able to buy enough time for a Ranger to come through, lay down the window. They were not expecting it, and they were able to layer a couple shots through and take down Bowling Green quite easily. But here comes the Gravitic Flux from Stomps. Does he get some folks down? He does. And I think this will go for another fight win for the side of Marquette. But we'll see if there are any stragglers. Can they do anything? No, nice sneaky flank from Reach, trying to take some less stragglers out. And will they find it? Yes, there's only the tank left alive now, and he's taken down as well. And looks like Marquette will hold this one.
We need to keep an eye on Reach a little bit more, because the flanking that Reach has been going for, the off angles have been putting in the work, and they are just showing out. You know what happens when you are being oppressed on both sides, from your supports being oppressed by Reach's flanking, and then on this other side you have this dominating Mei who is just putting ice walls. Axan has Blizzard right now. We had the Flux coming in from Grant, but was contested by Axan's Blizzard, so that should work out very favorably, and it does, as Nightmare once again goes down first. That's a very bad sign, like I said, for Bowling Green if they don't get rid of the rest of the team right here, right now. Trying to with night levels with the overclock, and no saving grace gonna be happening today. It is getting Marquette starting off this series very strong with 1 point on the board.
Wow. Yeah, that was a huge team fight there at the end, and Axan coming in absolutely clutch with the Blizzard to kind of prevent the Gravitic Flux from coming through. Takes out the lamp and just leaves everybody just standing still like icicles, and they were able to take a bunch of folks down after that. So well done from Axan there. Night Levels doing their best to put in the overclock to get some headshots in. That was a good piece of mechanical skill to take the Sigma out, because he can't, do his grasp over his head if he's facing forward. So it was a good headshot straight to the dome, but it wasn't enough to secure the point for his team, unfortunately. So Bowling Green, they looked really strong coming out of the gate, but I think Marquette found themselves back in their rhythm. They're like, wait a second, we know how to play this game. We just had to get the rust off really quick. And then they were able to kind of just, cascade down after that and take the first point. So really well done by them. Our next point, like you were mentioning, Monty, will be Eichenwald.
You already know. You see me rub my hands together? That's Eichenwald, baby. One of, I think, my favorite map besides Kings Row. It's well designed, it has a lot of high ground, it has a lot of areas where that long range Sigma is gonna really be dominating. If we go for the Sigma once more on defense from first point to second point, there's that long haul. Very difficult if you don't push in. Marquette should have the work cut out for them if they are on defense. Actually, both teams with the Sigma playing very well. However, Eichenwald, it doesn't really matter what happens in point 2 and point 3 if you don't get past that underbridge. That choke point can truly be the chokehold of all time.
Yeah, if last match was any indication, like, it can be done. You can hold that point for 2 minutes and even more, right? So both of these teams are going to be looking for sneaky ways to get past that point, whether it's Lucio speed boost, a Symmetra teleport, anything that they can do to get themselves onto that point and cause some havoc. I think you're right, Monty, that will be that Sigma composition once again. Both of these Sigmas playing pretty lights out, going through that rotation of shield, grasp, rock, shield, grasp, like going through that rotation pretty consistently, getting into that good rhythm, that good flow. So I want the folks at home to be looking out for that. And on the flip side, though, what really has been pressing me is the DPS lines. They're the ones that are really cracking this nut open, really putting in some of those interesting points to cause people to panic, to spam a lamp, put out an ultimate, whatever it might be. So look out for Axan and the like to really be causing that mayhem all over the map.
Watch out for Axan, watch out for Reach. You gotta watch out for all these guys as we start getting into our map in the next couple of seconds. And look, we're all ready, and look at my baby. Ooh, Bowling Green gonna be on the defense. And then kind of an interesting support backline here, the Zenyatta and the BAP. Not bad at all. They synergize very well. But as a Zenyatta main, as you know, as a Zenyatta lover, he has not been very strong recently. I am loving that we're going for the full poke here with the Zen and the Torb turret to do kind of like the thing.
This is a very greedy backline, to say the least.
She can be.
So a greedy backline like I was saying. So, but quickly, the Marquette just speed boosts in there with Mickey trying to overwhelm this very slow backline. So they're just going to be looking to find any advantage that they can. But Bowling Green was able to thwart them with Nightmare, of all people, getting that pick onto Reach and sending them back to spawn. So Marquette, they did try to rush in, find somebody quickly, but everyone was able to stay alive on the side of Bowling Green as they scattered and hid for cover. So it looks like Marquette will have to recontest. Like we were mentioning, this is a greedy backline with Nightmare playing the Zenyatta because he's so vulnerable. But he's in there to help Shady to facilitate him, because the orb is going on Shady. It's not going on anybody else. So instead of having that Mercy pocket, then Zenyatta will orb him and see what they can do. Marquette trying to move through the choke point now. They spend a lot of resources to do so. Night Level tries to dive in on him, but it gets walled off just in the nick of time and is able to prevent any further damage. Reach does move over to the Axe now to try to get a little bit more range, probably get that bottom online as well, because that could really crack this point open in that front. So looks like Marquette, they're really trying to stay in this point now here. All right,
Yeah,
and so
for
looks
sure.
like
yeah, I'm
Go
back.
ahead, Mike.
Hey. Yeah, no, for sure. Look, they're already starting to get back on the point, and this is a huge move.
Hammer
The hammer!
kill!
The hammer! Oh my god, we got it! We got the hammer, ladies and gentlemen! Wasn't that on your bingo card a couple of weeks ago?
It was. So I'm glad we got to see it in this one, Mott, but he did sacrifice his life for it. I hope that doesn't come back to bite him, as the respawn advantage will be in the favor of Marquette. My producer is saying worth in chat, and a hammer kill is always as such. It looks like Marquette is trying to make their way onto the point now.
Yeah, for sure. They have to. The defense from Marquette, so I'm sorry, not from Marquette, from Bowling Green has been almost impenetrable as Stomps goes down. Stomp down. Goodbye, Stomps. But even though our tank is gone, Reach and Axe get the get your pretty much your most healing and your other DPS out of there. That opens up an opportunity for Marquette to actually take point, even though the Transcendence to keep our tank alive a lot longer. Big brain plays from Nightmare right here, as we hopefully get a Discord on May accent walling off everyone else and allows the sound barrier to come out. Sadie Stair does have the duplicate right here, right now. Will they be using it, or are we going for the...
Yeah, Axan just doing the most amount of work, just a Herculean effort from him, putting down the snowball and just laying into everybody with that blaster, taking 2 down by his own hand. A third there from taking Shady to the grave as well. Marquette will finally be able to cap this point with a minute on the clock, just barely. Well done from them, but a very expensive hold from the side of Bowling Green. They invested, what, 2 or 3 ultimates into that. Luckily, they will be able to reset on this high ground now, as the cart will be moving towards the castle phase.
Yep, for sure. And thankfully, you do have a good chunk of time at your disposal. You have over 3 minutes to play with, and this is super doable for Marquette University, just to push even further. As you can pretty much leave your Lucio on card to just protect, to move it around. But I love that Marquette is just, or was, staying mostly together. But this Graphitic Flux, I feel a little bit of confidence from Stomps right here as we go straight up into the high ground, where Bowling Green was kind of camping out, but Marquette was camping out at.
Body, it was a little bit of a trap there. A little bit of a trap, friend. But Reach, like I was mentioning, that Bob was why he made the switch. The Bob is such a crucial ultimate. It's that 6th person on your team, and he was able to send it up to the high ground and really just flank them as they were dealing with the molten core on the other side. So the Bob, once again, being that crucial factor there. Now a huge amount of cart push for the side of Marquette. Let's see how BGSU decides to mount this final defense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you have everyone on the pillar right now, you have a couple ultimates lined up. You do have Flux, and you do have the window. Window's going to be clearing a whole lot of space, and no one wants to deal with a window at all. So Bowling Green has this one last opportunity to just contest a little bit longer and send everyone back to spawn. And there's a Graphitic Flux I was talking about from Grant, no less. Just going to be taking out Nikki. She's the first to go on this side, forcing out the Transcendence from Nightmare to keep the team alive even longer from the Blizzard. Maybe.
Will that be enough to turn the tides? Axan is a force to be reckoned with, just chopping through people, but it might not be enough. Yeah, as Grant gets a double hit with that accretion and sends 2 people back to spawn with it. Like we were mentioning, he is the star player on this roster, so he's going to be the one that is making plays, and everyone else is just going to kind of facilitate him being the best that he can be. So we'll see. The payload is only a few meters from the door, so let's see if they are able to capitalize it on this next push. No ultimates, actually 1 ultimate in the bank on the side of Mickey, and that Bob is coming online. Could be that tool that they need.
At the very least, Bob can contest Cart for such a long time. That is a person. Thankfully, they count Bob as a person, right? So, if all else fails, there's always Bob, right? So I'm loving that Reach is getting for that turret as fast as possible as Marquette storms in with the sound barrier just to get a little more protection, as they know they're going into basically a 5v5 full fight situation here. And it looks like they made it out. No Bob needed. Team kill, in fact. And that's going to be securing objective.
Wow, that was huge. I mean, so they rallied Reach on that high ground, rallied everybody into that corner, and from there, the rest of Marquette was able to collapse on top of them. So even though he was kind of focusing on getting the turret, the threat of the Ash headshots kind of just pushed everybody into that area, and then from there, Stomp just tried to take it to him. Now they're really contesting forward, trying to take a lot of space so that this car can round the corner, and they only will need 1 or 2 fights to win it. That's a whiff Gravitic Flux from the side of Stomp. The Malted Core comes in from Night Levels once again, and he gets at least the lamp on it, but can he get anybody else? He's laying in that shotgun shot, doesn't find a few things, but there it is. The straggling of how long that goop stays on the ground does get people as they try to retreat, and that will be a nice hold for the side of Bowling Green.
Yeah, for sure. From I can't even. The Mullen Court right there was so important, just kind of making sure that they cannot go past this point. It might be, more than halfway to point C from capping at full 3 points, but it's so much more if you can make sure that this does not go to 3 points. On the side of Marquette, we do have the window, and we do have sound barrier coming up on the back end. And on the other hand, Bowling Green has everything. They have Pfizer.
All right, here it goes. The what comes up must come down. For this next team fight, I think. Just a slew of ultimates. Everybody pressing Q in the chat, just trying to get something moving on this cart, and it looks like Marquette will come out on top miraculously as they're moving this cart forward. Will anybody be able to touch? Yes, there is a zipping Tracer who gets a one final touch, and here's the Zenyatta sacrificing the ultimate to be able to stall the payload just for the final second to get the rest of his team in, and no one was able to take him down in that. So Reach does find one on Shady Snare, but Nightmare finds Axan on the back end. Here we go, just a full melee, full brawl out here from both sides. The time is dwindling. There's only 3 seconds on the clock. Can they get it towards the end? It looks like Marquette. Will they be able to do it?
No way. No way. No way. No way. For a second, I thought offensive Zen ult was really going to help us out there. It almost did, is a funny part, but Marquette clutched up. They got to 3 points, but the downside is they don't have any extra time. If Bowling Green gets to 3 points with, I believe, over a minute, I don't think they can do anything else besides just defend, correct? So it gets to that point where it's like, can we hold them for at least under a minute, just so we can get the extra minute towards ourselves? That is what Marquette has to deal. What Marquette has to deal with right here, right now, as we see. Bowling Green is gonna start getting themselves ready, and we're going straight into this. It's getting, I'm about to get, I already tell this is going to be one of those series where it goes to 3-3. We have a reset. We have another round. We have maybe another couple of games. We're here till 3 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be one of those games. I already feel it. Marquette is starting to get ready. They're going with the same comp as before. Yes. And then Bowling Green going over to switching to the Bastion, likely for some more damage output on those discorded enemies, which you already know, not Bastion. Zenyatta did get a slight adjustment to his Discord. You cannot Discord the same target for more than after 7 seconds. So there's a slight cooldown on Discord, but Harmony Orb lasts for 5 seconds out of line of sight, which is humongous.
It is, yeah. It tricked me up the first time I played Zen the other day. I was like, why did I keep destroying the tank? So it is something that the players will have to adjust to. They have to look for those little cues in terms of who they can and cannot Discord. But with that, Night Levels opens it up and gets a pick onto Reach.
And as we see, Reach, like you said, does go down for the count very quickly. That allows Bowling Green to just go right in with the aggression, right on the point. Shady Snare on the Echo, and I love the Echo choice so much because she can be such a problem with that combo, of that damage dealing combo, and then Night Level's on the back end to just kind of finish out any opponents that get hit by stickies. Oh, we already have a tick, and we're only 3.5 minutes into our attack phase for Marquette. We're almost completely capped out. It has to go to Mickey to contest even longer with the Lucio, but not going to be enough, as we have almost 6 minutes, Philly, to get us down the streets.
Yeah, that defense just crumbled like a house of cards. There was nothing that Marquette could do. They just fell quite easily once Reach was down for the count. So, but they will be able to recontest now as they were on the castle, and a nice snipe in the bird in the sky. So Shady is taken back to spawn, but the war of attrition continues as BGSU continues to storm the castle gates.
Yeah, for sure. Although we do go down, your spawn is much closer to the side of Bowling Green than Marquette, so not too much of a loss quite yet. We do see the switch back to the Bastion, and all right, we're kind of steadily going through, pushing the payload all right to the middle of the first part of this map, and the aggression from both Sigmas here is gonna be huge. Going in with the Suck, and that Sigma's one has to use the Suck to get some more overhealth in, but not gonna be quite enough. Not even Lucio able to save him in time. The overclock does come out, and that level is right on top of it, as they always are. I love it here. Can Soldier get away? Run, Soldier, run! Run, Forest! No! Actan couldn't make it in time. Having to stagger like that is imperatively bad.
What is the range on that, Madi? I thought he was out of the range. Okay, but the window's flying through. Can they get a pick off of it?
Oh, that was a really good shield from that from the rock. So we do have window. You have to back up a little bit. Gotta respect that ultimate for sure. Graffiti Flux is ready on both ends, and Grant's gonna be the first one to use his, and has to use the sound barrier from Mickey. Oh no!
Oh!
The ledge! The ledge!
My gosh, it's Grant once again. He is the star. He is the pay this man. Like he is so good on just this sick. But just not after the fact, and this payload has not stopped moving. We are going to be rolling right into second point. I don't think that Marquette is going to be able to contest this. Oh, maybe they go in. It looks like are they trying? The Tac Visor, is this the hero play? No chance. The Bastion is just too strong. The Tac Visor just goes to waste. He's not going to get any value off of that. Mickey, though, trying to be very sneaky, just dancing and bouncing around the point. Marquette is going to try to take this and take some more time off the clock at the very least, but they only have a few members left on the side of Bowling Green. Grant, and they are able to hold it. Wow.
Nah, I think the Tac Visor was a distraction from Mickey, because Mickey booped off two of the most important members of Bowling Green. Like, just her do it. So super good that they were able to just kind of barricade and stop this from going to the next point, which would have given them even more time. You still have about 3 minutes to play with for Bowling Green, and I'm pretty sure they're trying to go over to the shortcut end, because why not? On the Bowling Green side, they still have a Graffiti Flux. We do have artillery coming in on the back end, and then we do have, again, we have window, which they might be using relatively soon, unless we can get that Graffiti Flux out, and they do. They're going to be... Oh! They're gonna be comboing, like I said, and that is, I've never seen Bastion kill that many people with artillery, okay? Never in my life. I've only ever seen it kill one person. 4 people is, 4 people and Lamp is incredible. Incredible play.
Well timed, Madi. Like that, the artillery strike has to come down exactly when people get slammed from the flux. So that was a well-practiced move, one we've seen from multiple teams out here in the league. But they've spent every ultimate in order to take that point. They do still have about 3.5 minutes on the clock to get it to point 3, and that's a lot of time in the time bank.
It certainly is. Reach gonna be going in for the overclock, and does get a little bit of a pick there alongside Stomps and Mickey, but this is going to be able to just kind of force Bowling Green back out, regroup, and no, when we go in for the flanking Sigma goes crazy, guys. Goodbye, Nightmare. Flanking Sigma, Grant is taking out Bab right then and there. It's going to be imperative, and kind of, again, staggers out Bowling Green even longer than they really want to be staggered out during this imperative last couple of team fights they're going to have to go through. Flux is ready on Thompson's end, and Grant not too far behind either. We do have Trans just as a precaution against that Flux, and also against against Axe's Blizzard.
The fact that Grant survived there, I need to like talk to this man. Like, he is so good. It's incredible. He should not have survived. He was facing a May and a Sigma, and he was still able to get back, which is why he's accruing his ult so quickly. There is the Gravitic Flux onto the Bastion. Will they be able to save him? The Lamp comes through, and then they put the Transcendence on top of it, and that leads the charge now for the Flux on the other side. But can they get any eliminations? No, they cannot. But Axan just, here's a nice little snowball for you. It's Christmas time, everybody. And he just lays into him, and there is a team kill for the side of Marquette. They're able to hold it once again.
Unfortunately, you can't transcendence through everything. I felt that before. I know how. I love Nightmare's thinking there. Just transcendence right through the Griffith Flux. You should be fine. But Axan being so aware, just kind of baiting out the transcendence, utilizing the Blizzard, and helping the team score a team kill right there and continue this barricade. Just stall for a minute longer. You can let them get the 3 points and get the reset. This is a good opportunity for Marquette just to enforce this corner that they do not want them to go past right here, right now. That is Reach going in for the overclock, going to be damage boosted by Mickey right here, and that is a problem. Going right through the shield, and everyone going right behind cover, not able to get anything off of the overclock, but a lot of pressure has been spent here. Oh! Another returning overclock from Night Levels, though. Can we get any picks here? We do get Axe really low, forcing the ice block.
Yeah, absolutely massive. And there it is, the final kill on the Royal Ranger, which is the crux of this composition, putting out a ton of healing. Mickey did switch over to the Mercy to try to get a little bit extra DPS from range, but they weren't able to use it to great effect and get any picks off of that overclock window combination. So will this be BGSU finally reaching to the point? The side of Marquette still staying alive as Stomp comes back in with a huge Gravitic Flux, captures 2 in the back line. Will they be able to hold this now? Just Shady, just trying to get anything done with the Bastion. No, they cannot. Grant still staying alive on this point. This man is a rock, a statue out there, but eventually taken down. 30 seconds left on the clock. Will they even be able to touch? I don't think so.
30 seconds left on the clock, and the only ult common you have is Transcendence and also Artillery Cannon. But is that going to be enough, especially when we do have Blizzard coming up very quickly now? Blizzard's going to be honestly the biggest factor in maintaining this point and not letting them go through. They don't have any speed boosting or available to them. They can't do anything about it. They have less than 5 seconds left. Philly, I don't think they make it. Okay, Sojourn does make it, but we got Blizzard back on the point. And does everyone get frozen? No, Transcendence comes right in clutch at the nick of time to keep our defenses alive even longer. But that's all that we have at our disposal. That's Nightmare going straight down, but Stomps and Axan do follow behind. And no, Mickey trying to get a hopeful res off, but she's unable to. We're going to be seeing Bowling Green cap the point, and we are going to be getting that reset with a minute each team, which is honestly best case scenario.
Yeah, absolutely huge. I mean, the recontest coming in from the Sojourn of Bowling Green, it was able to find a pick as you recontest. That's the best thing you could ever wish for. And so they were able to get onto the point. Yeah, he eventually did fall, but you took somebody else with you and allowed your team to get to the point in full force after that. So being able to slide in the point, get that headshot, absolutely critical to sending their team into extra rounds.
I'm sorry, Philly. I'm about to get a forced Windows reset. This is so horrible. So hopefully I don't get kicked out from Windows restarting my computer. And we are going to be seeing Bowling Green on the defense side first, going in with the Bastion once more, which I think was honestly very pivotal in this matchup. Honestly, going from the Echo to the Bastion, I love it. Echo is good in her own rights, but I think here you need all your manpower and
Yeah. Well, Monty, maybe that reset is necessary with all the little bit of lag that you've been getting. So, but we are into it now, folks, as we are into extra rounds. Each team with 1 minute on the clock to try to get as much percentage on the capture point as they can. If they are able to capture it, they will be in overtime, and they can stay on the cart and try to push as much meterage as possible. Here's this classic rotation that Marquette has been trying to do, as they just put the wall up to block any damage and get themselves onto the point. They are on it now. Can they find some picks? The Lucio being pressured so heavily, and Grant is able to connect and find the kill. Now, here we go, but it's now 1-for-1s. It's just kills are littering the scoreboard, but who will be able to come out on top? It looks like Marquette is able to stay stalwart on the point, just thwarting the advance from the side of Bowling Green, who are trying to stake their claim onto this objective. Not able to do it, though, so far. Stomp's very, very low. Can they get some healing on their side? Yes, their Lucio comes to their aid. They block off the entrance, and it looks like it'll be a count for the side of Marquette. Absolutely massive teamwork from them. Okay, here we go. They have to stay on the payload now as the time is dwindling into the overtime. It looks like the side of Bowling Green has switched over to the Doomfist in order to get themselves back onto the point in a quick manner. Madi, are you back with us? Okay. All right, looks like we're continuing onward. And Iliadi now is on the side of Bowling Green, which I do like. A lot of nice cover areas to put that pylon and able to lay in a little bit of that extra damage that is needed. So we have that Doomfist on Grant. Let's see what he can do with it. We know he's a proficient tank. And Breach opens up with a massive pick onto his counterpart in Night Level. So here we go, laying into more damage and finds another one as Grant decides to commit with the slam. And no punch to follow it up. Everybody's trying to commit their lives on the side of Bowling Green to prevent any more inches being gained. But here we go, a huge collapse from the side of Marquette, taking everybody down, and a big team kill for them. The cart keeps moving.
I'm back. It was so fast. I'm so happy. We are back over here. As I'm seeing right now, Marquette is pushing the cart, and we are already more than halfway across point A to point B. And I think Bowling Green is struggling a lot here. We don't have a quite clear composition. We do have the type of stuff coming out from Nightmare going over to the Yari from the Zenyatta, and we're going to be kind of coupling that with the May Blizzard. So hopefully that does work out on Marquette's favor, and it certainly does. Unfortunately, even though we got to have the sun going out, I'm loving the defensive Blizzard play that Axe has been utilizing so far. And we're going to be capping to 5 points, Philly. We are 5 points in. What is Bowling Green going to do? Okay, we're going back to the Sigma Zen, and we're probably going to be forcing that choke point right here, the little corner, if they can make it in time.
Yeah, I think the Sigma is definitely what you need to do. You slow this pace down a little bit. You just have to stop them now. Can't let them get any more meterage. If they cap this all the way to 6 points, that is going to spell doom for you on the other side. No pun intended. But the overclock comes out from both of the Sojourns here. Who will get the more value from it? Both trying to find some advantage, get some access to the other enemy team's backline. But it looks like Axehand does find that space needed to take somebody down. Grant, that absolutely magnificent man on the other side, is leading his team onward to victory, and I think that will be the end for the side of Marquette's push. And there it is. They were off the cart for an instant, and that time goes down. It was so quickly.
Listen, that was a beautiful, beautiful push from Marquette. I may have missed half of it due to Windows being funny. However, from going from, capping point to point A and halfway through point B, this is gonna be such a difficult hold to go through.
Yeah,
so difficult.
Bowling Green is really going to have to get their heads on straight, because this is a lot of meters that they're going to need to push, Matt. So they really need to come in with a good strategy, try to cap the control point in their first push. If they don't get it in the first push, I think it's going to spell doom for them.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know what... I would be so stressed out if I was Bowling Green right now, but anything is possible. I still think they're very strong, especially on attack. I mean, we did see how fast that Bowling Green did cap point before Marquette did. Marquette almost had, I think a minute and a half, 2 minutes left when they did cap point, and Bowling Green had 3 minutes up to 5 minutes after they had cap point. So they are efficient and quick in their attack phase. Will it work again is the real true question here. 5 seconds to go. This is make it or break it. Not quite yet. Let me not get ahead of myself. We have another map to go. But this could be make it or break it.
And so this is where the game within the game comes in, Matt, because they've seen what Bowling Green has run before, and did they come up with a game plan in the meantime, in between this little break, to figure out what they're going to do? And Reach getting a pick off the front end of that is definitely going to help.
Absolutely. You only have 4 seconds to go. You cannot be... The very beginning is where you want it to happen, where you can respawn within and have a couple seconds left to cap point, which they absolutely do. Bowling Green trying their hardest to get past this chokehold, this choke point, and that May wall is gonna be securing it. more than likely for Marquette right there. Without your tank and only about 50 seconds to go, the dream may be over. Night Level's trying their best to get some extra healing done. Maybe can contest points by themselves, but otherwise Marquette is looking super fire right now.
Yeah, Matt, and I have to go back to the Zenyatta. Like, I just don't think that's the correct pick. I mean, yeah, I can see how the Transcendence helps against the Flux, and that can add a little extra damage, but he's very slow. And as I said that, I eat my words as he's laying the Discord down onto everybody on the side of Marquette and just letting Grant do the rest of the work. So, yeah, okay, fine. They made it work in this instance, but will they be able to push the point? Because if Zenyatta goes down, he's not getting back to that cart anytime soon. So this is do or die now for the side of Bowling Green.
This is my formal apology to Nightmare. I'm sorry I doubted you, brother. So, that was a beautiful attack phase from Bowling Green. But now they have to do what Marquette did and do it better. They all have to stay on the payload. The payload. They all have to stay together. They all have to be pretty much on their A game. And honestly, this quarter is definitely what's going to be making or breaking this team right here, right now. And Night Level is once again done with the flanking soldier, forcing out the Transcendence. But that might be what we needed. Hold on. Oh, no, this is...
Oh!
Not the C9! No, not like this. Not like this. Not like this. Not like this. I can't believe it.
Heartbreak, Marty, from the side of Bowling Green. They had it. They were going to be able to do it, but too much space was created by Marquette with all those slew of ultimates, and they just stepped off the cart. And in that instance, it's just over for them. Oh, heartbreak.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm so sad. Whenever it's like a C9 type situation, because you could argue they were forced off the cart. When you see window, your immediate scrim instinct is, if you see window, go behind cover. That is your shield. That is an impenetrable shield, right? But when you do that and the cart goes forward, you have to take that gamble, especially if Sigma doesn't have the suck, doesn't have anything to negate that firepower from the Baptiste window. It's unfortunate, and all the more better for Marquette. Hopefully going into game 3, they feel confident. They're like, we are 2 up right now. However, did this not happen last series where a reverse 3-0 may have almost came? So that could still happen. Hold on, because Bowling Green, this series right now is not one-sided whatsoever. Maybe 1 or 2 misplays is what's determining these points, honestly. So Bowling Green can take it. They can take next point. They can take next map and the 4th map, and then suddenly we're in map 5 is midnight, and I have work tomorrow, and we are here. So before we get into all that, map 3 is gonna be the game changer with New Junk City Flashpoint, which, similar to Control Point, can either make you or it can break you.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see if they will go on the Sigma or if Grant will do something else. Because once again, Grant, I know I keep saying his name. I apologize to everybody at home, but Grant is really he's doing everything. He's doing the kills. He's blocking. He's putting in the ultimates. If he could heal his team, I'm sure he would be able to do that too. This guy can do everything. So I know what kind of tank depth he has. So I'm curious to see if they'll bring something else out just to try to throw a wrench into the game plan of Marquette. And especially, like you said, New Junk City is very brawly. There's all these control points that you're trying to contest different areas to gain percentage. So maybe a Doomfist, maybe an Orisa, those sort of things could be an advantage for Bowling Green here. So we'll see what they decide to do. I have been impressed with the DPS duo of Bowling Green this time around. I know the previous couple casts we've been with Bowling Green, I've had them step up. I said, hey, I need you guys to step up. I want to see some more fantastical things from you. And this game I have opening picks, good ultimates, nice combination plays. So they have been improving over the season. I want to see them get at least 1 map win on the board.
For sure. And I think New Junk City is the one to do it with, especially because, I always say this almost every single week, every single 10 o'clock at night. Here I go. New Junk City, Flashpoint in general, is one of those maps where a rushier comp is so favorable. They are going to be utilizing 5 different RNG points, and you have to get from point A to point B very quickly. Lucio, Dragon Queen, these are your rush downs. We are getting a really quick sub swap for the side of Marquette. So as we get that situated, Junkertown, I'm not Junkertown, please. New Junk City is this could be it for Bowling Green to get themselves back on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different topographical things, a lot of different infrastructures and landscapes in this map, whether you're going to Bombyard or the Wasteland or the arena itself. There's so many different cool map designs that each team can utilize to their advantage. Now that also plays into your composition, right? Which ones, you don't know which ones are going to pop up first, right? We know it's arena, but then after that, you don't know which one's going where. So you can't really put a composition to that, but you want to pick a character that you think can utilize them all, at least to some effect. So we'll see. I think the Sojourn will be played by both sides once again. I think the Sigma will come in from both sides. As much as I hate to see it, I want to see something different, just mixed it up just a tad. But you're right. I think the Lucio will be the tried and true, as we see both Mickey and Evan on the Lucio here.
This is exactly what I played. Nightmare and I are on the same wavelength, I swear. Every single time I have to play, I'm forced to play on Flashpoint. Moira, immediately Moira. I want to get to point A to point B as quickly as possible, and I'm glad they're taking my advice. We're going both the Lucio and the Junker Queen for Bowling Green, something a little bit different, alongside the Genji. So the only consistent thing we're seeing here is that Sojourn on Bowling Green, but Marquette is going again with the Sigma, but kind of changing it up. We have the Ana, we have the Tracer. That Nano is gonna be a game changer, honestly, as it always is. We don't have a shoe anymore though, so we have to be really careful on the side of Bowling Green that we don't get overrun by a bunch of by the damage output. And Stomps going down from the count by 9 levels. Jeez, that's a great start for them. And then Ana gone. Zippy able to get something on the board, but it's gonna be Bowling Green securing that first brawl match. And this is kind of what I was saying. Brawl goes so well here. JQ, Lucio, the Moira for extra damage, the damage orb, and then the Genji and Soldier just kind of clean everything up. This should spell out success. Evan being a good support and, you know, taxing everybody as you should.
Yeah, and this is something that I wanted to see. I've been saying it for a couple times now. Get something that just goes past the Sigma. He's so slow. He's so whatever. Just go past him. Who cares? And just chop him down. And there it is, just right past the shield. And let's just take him down. Junker Queen don't care. Junker Queen come at you with the axe. So another huge kill from Grant as he takes a few folks down. And there's that damage orbs you were talking about just to finish a few folks. And another clean fight win for the side of BGSU. They're holding this point fantastically.
And and just in case anyone doesn't know, these fights go by so quickly. That's why we have to have multiple points instead of control, where it's 2 points you have to get. On here, you have to get 3 of 5. So you're already at 93%. You only have one more fight to get back here. And look, Mickey is already on it. She is trying to get to the point, but not quite fast enough, as the point does go towards Bowling Green. And the next point, RNG, will it help us today as we finish off Marquette with a quickness, with the coalescence as well, just for some extra damage. But next point, going over to the I think that was Junkyard. I can't even.
So that was an interesting recontest there from the side of Marquette, and I think one of the teams in this last series made a similar mistake where it's like, all right, should we go in? Should we go? Should we not? And then they did, lost the fight, and now they're gonna be on the offensive, trying to storm this point, if you will. So they do have a couple ultimates in the bank to try to help them do that. But once again, this Junker Queen, here comes the Rampage, just covering people in purple, and that's going to be another easy fight win for Bowling Green. Absolutely massive Rampage from the JQ.
Okay, Nightmare on the Moira, as you should. So that Rampage in that little corridor is where Rampage just works out so beautifully. You can't do anything about it. You don't have a Curie to negate the Rampage, so Junker Queen doesn't really have to think too much about, will I get Suzu? Will someone get cleansed? Can someone escape? No one in this comp, except for really Zippy, Soldier, and Lucio, can escape that Rampage, and no one can negate it whatsoever. Does that pole stick? Ah, it doesn't, but Hattie does get the pick on night levels, forcing Shady to pop out the blade, the dragon blade. And wait, we might just be cleaning it right back up, and we do. Although we got 2 really good picks on Bowling Green, Marquette, again, just kind of falls to the coercion of Bowling Green, utilizing that blade the instant we saw that, hey, our teammates are kind of dead. And that deflect on the nade, Hattie just didn't have a chance, unfortunately.
So just to highlight the substitutes here. So Zippy came in, Hattie came in. These are specialists on these characters. So that's the thing. It's like, okay, yeah, they can swap, but are they going to be as good as they are when they play the Tracer, when they play the Ana, what have you? So they're almost a little bit locked into some of these compositions. So Zippy does go over to the Bastion. Let's see if he's able to get some work on there. But it doesn't even matter, Madi, because they're just taking it to him with the Junker Queen. Once again, tossing people to the face.
The daggers that Grant has been able to land consistently have pretty much been the biggest one of the biggest factors in controlling the team fights, controlling the dominance, controlling the pace at which team fights go. It's working out so well. Hattie, although the Ana specialist, is going to go over to the Baptiste, which I promise you, every Ana knows how to play Baptiste, either by force or we like Baptiste. I promise. So Hattie moving over to Baptiste, we have a little bit more of that traditional combo we were seeing from Marquette earlier in our first 2 matches today, or I'm sorry, our first 2 rounds today. So as long as they have that coercion and they kind of stick together, it should work. But the way that Bowling Green is playing, which is this over-aggressive, going right to the back line and just killing everything in sight, respectfully, is working beautifully. The Flux does come in clutch. We do take care of 2 of our biggest, honestly, pains, which is Nightmare and... Oh! Wait. No way. No way. No way.
Yep.
Philly, no way. Philly, no way. Philly, no way. No way. Wait. I straight up thought that getting rid of Nightmare and getting rid of Shady Snare, 2 very oppressive heroes in their own as a support and as a DPS, would like secure it. And then Junker was like, no, remember, I have Rampage. I can self-heal. Everyone's purple. You can't do anything about it. This is one last fight they have. It's 85%.
This might be the quickest Flashpoint match I've ever seen in my life. This is just that they haven't even been able to get a single tick on any of the points, and here we go. They're already at a disadvantage with night levels, finding Hottie in the backline, an absolutely massive pick. The Sound Barrier comes through from Evan just to secure everybody, keep them alive. I don't think they're... Yeah, no chance. There's Grant coming to with a 2K as well. Just the ball to clean up, and there it is. A fantastic win. This could be the start of that reverse sweep you were talking about, Madi, as Bowling Green.
Where is bro going? Where is he going? He want to go say hi. That was if there is ever a match that explains Flashpoint perfectly, whenever I say it could either like be a 3-0 or it could be up to game 5, that this is one of those games. This was the play in question, the play of the game, going to Grant for that beautiful Rampage in that little enclosed space. No one could do anything about it. Again, no Curie, no anything like that. You don't have anything to, you can pop out the Junker Queen Rampage and win with it. It's beautiful. Junker Queen is so fun. What's more fun is, finally, we get to go to a really, really, really quick break. We'll be right back with the next map, our 4th map of the night. Don't go anywhere. Go get a little bit of water. We'll be right back. And we're back. We didn't really go anywhere much. We're just kind of chilling here, waiting for y'all to come back, waiting for our teams to get sorted right back out as we move on to our map 4, Route 66. We do have Marquette going over and taking the defense on this map. So it's gonna be up to Bowling Green to have that aggression from New Junk City and put it into the attack phase of Route 66, which I think they did beautifully. The Junker Queen Brawl comp kind of tore right through what Marquette was kind of a master at, which was that Sigma comp, which is that Sigma that Sojourn with with the Bap and Lucio. Like, they just kind of tore right through, and nothing could have been done about it. So from what I'm hoping, Philly, is that that's what we're gonna be seeing a little more, is that rush, brawl, Joker Queen, raw damage attack composition.
But I really think it's actually not just what tank you play. I think it's the player of the tank. So Grant is just he's just too good. And so if they can create a composition that facilitates him to be the best that he can be, he'll just run through you. So yeah, I think that maybe they figured out Marquette and they're like, wait a second, Grant's better than Stomp. Like, we could just do this. So okay, let's do it. So let's get him in there and he'll just cause all the damage, cause all the mayhem. And so yeah, I think on this one, maybe they might not go with the Junker Queen because Junker Queen's not good at the high ground, low ground. They might go with Arisa because Arisa is a little bit more stalwart as she's staying on the cart to push. And then they might have some other people like a Genji Sojourn to contest that high ground. Or hey, I could eat my words, and they might go Junker Queen, say screw it, and just run at them. And if they win the first point around the corner, then who cares if you have high ground, because now you do. So it really just depends. But I think the biggest key here is how well Bowling Green is able to facilitate Grant just run and train.
Absolutely. On the side of Marquette, on Route 66, I fully expect the Sigma kind of brawlish poke
Hybrid kind of deal.
hybrid. Thank you. So I'm fully expecting for everyone to kind of, except for Night Levels on the Sombra, I'm expecting everyone to kind of stay. I'm sorry, they switched sides. I'm confused. Stomps and Marquette University are going to stay on the gas station, should be able to kind of poke in and out from that super duper long range. And I'm loving that Mickey's back on the Mercy, because this is kind of where Mercy can shine a little bit more than we saw her on Oasis, and we saw a little bit on I believe New Chunk City. Not New Chunk City, on Eichenwald. Mickey with the Mercy should be able to get around a lot covered. There's a bunch of health packs around you just in case you can't get peeled for in time. So we are seeing on the side of Bowling Green a little taste of that Juggernaut Queen comp we did see. We're seeing Shady Snare on the Genjis for sure, and Night Level is going over to the newly reworked Sombra, which is gonna be incredibly interesting to see how they can kind of utilize her rework into their own advantage. As you can see, kind of scouting out where they are, and that gives a lot of information for Bowling Green. The virus can be thrown out already, a lot of poking the back line, and then immediately TPing out, as you should as a Sombra main. But that distracts him long enough for Marquette to push forward, not Marquette, for Bowling Green to push forward even more. Unfortunately, Shady Snare does go down very quickly by Reach. Reach with the Sojourn has been honestly on a roll today, and the Sigmas are fighting head to head as Reach once again with the flanking, with the aggression, going in, taking care of both supports. Stomp is all by his lonesome. I'm sorry. Scott was all by his lonesome. You gotta go and get out of there, and Night Level is just certainly somewhere.
Yeah, Night Level's just going on a little adventure, a little sightseeing tour of the Route 66. Trying to find some value, I guess. I mean, if you're trying to set up for point 2, great, but you need to get point 1 first. The vulnerable target here is going to be the Mercy, but the Mercy's playing very elusively, just kind of using everybody else as human shields. So yeah, you are scouting, but you're also leaving your team with one less member doing damage and taking aggro. So yeah, let's see what they do. Oh, they do get the Mercy. Can they do anything with it? No, the virus is not enough to get her down, and the lamp has to come through from Royal Ranger, but he is taken down as Shady just lays in a volley of orbs right to his dome, and here comes Grant Nodes, tried and true, laying the rocks into that high ground, and Shady finds another. Can they take the high ground here from Marquette? It looks like they will be able to, and the cart will keep moving.
Hey, that worked out. You pretty much, all Grant did was we utilized Gravitic Flux on the high ground where everyone was stationed at, and it forced everyone off. It forced off Flamp, which kept making live a little bit longer. But as long as we get all those picks out and the high ground is not at their disposal, Marquette does not have anything to their disposal, and Bowling Green can actually utilize that in their advantage and just push through, which they definitely did beautifully. Mickey has to be really careful here because I think, she might be priority number 1. That damage boosted Sojourn, with the way that Reach has been playing so well today, may be a big issue. We are seeing that Nella was once again kind of scouting out, seeing, okay, Sojourn's over here, we gotta appeal for him, we gotta make sure we get him at some point. But Reach no for no help. We are seeing the overclock once more, and then we're gonna be coupling that with the Dragon Blade. Not gonna be able to get any kind of value, unfortunately, as Stomp is right on top of it, getting rid of Genji as soon as possible. As Accent again also gets rid of Ed on the side of Bowling Green, which is humongous, forcing the entire team. They had to restart and reset. Nightmare not able to get out on time though. Oh, that was an evil hack. I felt that. I'm sorry.
The Mickey on the Mercy just played that fight so well. When Sombra's on the other side, you are constantly head on a swivel panicking because the hack could just come out of nowhere. But she was able to play that quite nicely. Damage boost the accretion from Stomp to kill Shady as he was diving in with the Dragon Blade. So thwarted that ultimate, then kept everybody alive using the Valkyrie. And then on the back end, the one person who did fall was able to get the res and get them back in the fight. So well done from Mickey there. Here comes the Mickey once again trying to keep her team alive, but just not able to as the Gravitic Flux from Grant is just too strong. We have a couple of people still fighting though, trying to maintain. There's that virus onto the Baptiste, trying to take him down, and the Genji knows who the priority target is, tries to get that Mercy, but nice tech there to get into the high ground, but not enough as Night Levels was waiting in the wings to take that Mercy down. This is a good fight win for Bowling Green. They'll be able to move the cart just a little bit further now.
Yep, for sure. And you do want to move as much as possible. Stomp's getting stomped around. Oh my god, the virus with I believe it was virus and hack. And then being coupled with the fact that you're kind of in a little bit crowded room, that was enough to have to stagger out Stomp's respawn with the rest of his team. Marquette is forced away for their tank, and now finally they can regroup. Look how far Sigma is in the spectator mode, see? You have to wait for your Sigma to come around, but thankfully they're going to be going over the high ground, and I'm pretty sure that's where, Shady and Evan are already stationed, knowing that that's where they're going to be coming out from. Coming at the visor coupled with the window, that's huge. Stunning him out of the visor is gonna be the game changer here, though. That allows for Bowling Green to kind of keep himself alive a whole lot longer than expected, and Mickey does go down for the count. So Marquette just has to back up. They gotta back off, even though we try getting the visor with the window. You don't have Mickey on you, you don't have a pocket, and that lets Bowling Green push up onto the next point, and also take up a little bit of space to clear out even some extra distance for the payload. We're going to be building up a little bit of Dragon Blade here, 91% for the EMP as well. A little bit of hack on the Valk, doesn't shut it down, but it does give Mickey a little bit of a whirlwind to deal with. Oh, you were 1 meter from the health pack, unfortunate, but good on Royal Ranger for getting rid of Night Levels and a very imperative part of Bowling Green's composition.
I mean, I think Mickey has to switch off because that's like the second or third time they've been hacked out of a resurrection there. So they weren't able to get Accent back in the fight. Unfortunately, they have the spawn advantage, but Bowling Green is just rolling through. They can't be stopped. Another Dragon Blade from Shady. Can he find some value with it? He does create enough space. It does, there you go, find Reach right there at the back end. And the Discord, oh no, poor Stomp just crushed into the ground, and Bowling Green with a nice time back of 2 minutes caps the third and final point.
That was a 4-man EMP, and Genji understood the assignment. Went for the blade. No one could do anything about it. We're gonna be having I've been saying the synergy of the DPSs is what makes or breaks kind of what happens here with both Bowling Green and Marquette. Net levels EMP into Shady's Dragon Blade. That was beautiful. That secured the round. That secured them from having to fight one more team fight at overtime with like a meter left, right? That was beautiful synergy from Bowling Green all around. Marquette, however, now they have to do the same thing. 2 minutes on the clock here. Your only option is to make sure you get to the third point with at least a minute. That's all you need. If you don't have at least a minute, if you go into overtime, that's grounds for just a draw, or the most you get is a draw. So Setting up here, we are seeing Marquette going in favor for the soldier with the soldier sojourn, and then Mickey staying the Mercy, and we're gonna be seeing, instead of a switch from Mickey, Royal Ranger is going to go over to the Kiriko, likely for a little bit more survivability, a little bit of keeping the same DPS standard as Baptiste as well. So I don't mind the Mercy Curie. Curie is very flexible, as we've said earlier. She can go in and out very easily, and keep the team alive. Even if Reach for No Help, who is excellent at flanking, needs help, Curie can go and help him out. And hopefully that does show out. Night Levels, I just realized, has the Seraphim Sombra. I see you. Okay, me too with the Kiriko. Kind of scouting out where everyone is. And look, poor is the first target as always.
Yeah, okay, so a few changes, I guess, on the side of Marquette, but will it be enough to get to the end of the map with 2 minutes on the clock? A nice hack there onto the Sigma, and that you're able to survive out of that. So we'll see. I think the backline for BGSU is definitely way stronger in terms of the damage output. Obviously, Mercy not putting really any damage in. And I think that's, once again, a vulnerable piece. It might seem like it's a good idea, but I don't know. I just don't think in terms of how the pace of completion that you need, if Mercy is the right choice here. So there's that Suzu trying to cleanse people up, maybe to cleanse the hack, right, that comes through,
yes,
to keep that Mercy alive just a little bit longer. So we'll see as each team is trying to fight for this corner now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I'm glad that Marquette is able to push as far as they did. But as I say that, damn, Stomps does go down, and it has to, Marquette has to back out a little bit in order not to let anyone else fall, like Reach for No Help did. Stomps does come back online, and I love it that Axehand and Mickey are kind of hand in hand, getting some extra pressure in here. But with Bowling Green on that high ground, they don't have a somber EMP or anything to really contest their positioning. So they can just stay there with little to no threat from anyone. We already have Flux for Grant, and also the window, just to couple it with anything that we want to put together. We have the Valk. It's a good starter for this next team fight, but is it going to be enough is the real question at hand. No. There's that Flux. Grant, the first one to go down. And, oh my god, he actually just go down. Oh my goodness.
Like you were saying, the Valkyries, it's just not enough. It's just not as impactful as a Transcendence, as a Sound Barrier, right, to keep your team alive through that impactful ultimate. The other thing is, like, you also have the Kitsune Rush, which is like, what are you gonna do with that? I'm just very interested to see, why they chose this. Okay, here they are switching to the Lucio with 2 minutes left or a minute 30 left on the clock, excuse me. So this is a little bit of desperation mode now. They probably have 1 or 2 more solid pushes to try to get this card at least just to .1, but an EMP is lurking in the shadows.
This would be a really funny EMP if Night Levels did it right then and there, but that doesn't work. That doesn't work. We do have Visor at the ready, and I thought we were gonna couple it with the Kitsune just for Kitsune Visor, because that's such a strong ult synergy, but no. We're instead gonna be keeping Kitsune for our next team fight, and kind of being able to clean it up the way that we know that Marquette can in fact do. Reach, once again, Reach and Axel, may I actually, give them both commendments for being able to really put in the DPS, put in the work, and get Bowling Green to the first point. They do have 3 minutes and some change left on the clock. There's a lot of time to kind of play with, because at first it was looking a little bit grim, Philly. It was looking a little grim, but we clean up our act. We are back on it. Night Levels once again scouting in the back line, seeing who is the most vulnerable person on this team right now. And right now, with that switch to Lucio, I don't think anyone on Marquette is truly as much of an easy pick as they used to be for Night Levels.
Yeah, everyone's definitely way more elusive. Well, in that last fight, it was the Gravitic Flux coming out from Stomps just to get that range onto the high ground. And here comes one from the side of Grant, but he gets stuck out of it. No, huge. But the fight is not over yet, because Shady Snare has the Dragon Blade. He's looking to cut some people down. He does find 2, but it spends his life for it. The fight is still raging on now as both teams are trying to skirmish, trying to find some extra kills on their side, and it looks like Bowling Green will come out on top. So, in that previous fight back on .1, it was Stomps doing the Gravitic Flux and slamming people back down, and Night Levels had to come back and they thought they were going to contest on top of big girls. So she used the EMP defensively. I think only got maybe one person just at the very fringe of it, but it didn't even matter because they Marquette went down the ramp and was able to get the point that way and get the cart to the finish line. So, but it looks like Marquette is not over yet. They're still trying to contest this on the offense. Okay, well, Stomp's going down. They definitely need to reset now and try again. They have about a minute 30 on the clock and able to do so.
Even if they didn't want to reset, they're gonna have to be forced to with almost the entire team down. Besides Accent, who escapes within with literally just one. So able to get back to the team, and this is gonna be a couple of team fights. Some ults a lot of ults on the back end for Marquette that they can utilize. Definitely no sucks that could be a good moment for Visor to start coming in clutch when it does get to that opportunity. The Flux is ready, and we've seen that it was a beautiful team killer, right? That Flux, and everyone kind of dogpiling on top of everyone else. We do have the window, gonna be using the sound barrier, and that's a good amount of cushioning for the side of Marquette, and that Transcendence gonna be helping out as well with the EMP just to, make sure that everyone just dies. Fortunately, it works out beautifully. Shady, Nightmare and Knight able to get the picks needed and force yet another reset for Marquette. 40 seconds left on the clock here, Philly. Do they have the ult economy for this? They do. They may have Kitsune if Warrior Ranger super focuses on healing for a little bit just to build up Kitsune as fast as possible. And we can definitely couple that with Visor and or Overclock. Either one will work. But that Flux, they're all together. Do it. Yes! Okay, everyone got out of there with the quickness. Oh, not Royal Ranger though. Oh no.
Oh no. That was the one you needed the most. But yeah, crucial ultimate once again coming out from Grant. In that previous fight though, Mickey spent their sound barrier too early. They responded with the sound barrier with the against the window, and that's not what you need.
Yes.
And with that, the time ticks down and Bowling Green takes this one. So, Madi, we are going to a map 5, but I want to keep continuing on the fact that Mickey used that sound barrier just too early against not the right ultimate, especially when you have Gravitic Flux. That's the one you want to save it for. With the window, fine. Just use your speed boost, get your team away from the window. You had plenty of time left to recontest, and then go back in, try to, bait and switch them a little bit. So, Mickey, just a little bit more disciplined there next time. With that being said, Bowling Green capitalizing on the mistakes of their opponents and being able to full hold on point 2 and take us to a tied series, Monty. We're going to map number 5.
I think I have manifestation skills because did I not just say we're going to have a verse 3-0 possibly? So we are one map away from that possibly being the reality at hand for Bowling Green, of course. If Marquette is able to cap it on Esperanza, they will simply win. We are match point, ladies and gentlemen. Anything can go here, and the way that Bowling Green has been playing this kind of rush dive synergy, this hybrid, Marquette hasn't been able to have an answer for it whatsoever. We continue to go for the Sigma Brawl hybrid comp, and I think Bowling Green used the first 2 maps as a warm-up personally, because now they are in it. They are super focused in. They are ready to get this locked in for Game 5. Esperanza, worldly famous as a brawl map for sure, but Bowling Green, they have been adapting so well between map 1 to map 5, and I love seeing it happen in real time from week to week to map at this point. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, that's something, as casters we get to see. We really get to learn and understand these players as we watch them week in and week out. So it's really cool to see their development throughout the season and throughout the year. We know that Bowling Green is a good squad. They've taken maps off of a number of good opponents throughout this year. And so we know that they can do it. It's just whether or not they can focus themselves and work as a team. And I think that they found the way to do that in this match. We knew this was going to be a banger and go the distance. These two teams are very evenly matched in all areas. But I think Bowling Green, like we were talking about, the game within the game, they figured it out. They know what to do. They unlocked Marquette and they know how to take them down. So I'm leaning on Bowling Green. They have the momentum going into this one. We know that push can be very brawly at times, where teams are just skirmishing throughout every corner of the map scene, Bowling Green has the advantage in that state.
Very beautifully said, and pretty much I completely agree with you. They should have the advantage here, with the fact that we're seeing the comp again, Philly. I'm seeing the Moira and Joker Queen. Ooh, ooh! I'm so excited. I'm sorry. I love the synergy with Bowling Green's comp right now. Like I said, it's kind of a messed up, not a bad way. It's just like in a what do we do about this kind of way? Messed up composition of the rush with Joker Queen and the dive from Genji, and to an extent Sojourn as well with the slide in, right? The flanking that Night Levels can do. Going over around the bend to meet up on the high ground here. Who can beat us out right now? We are going to be seeing Accent go revert back to the maze, something that we saw them go on control point, and Shady Snare is the first to go. But that does not mean anything quite yet. We've seen Bowling Green clear it out with only one person gone from their team, and the Mei wall may be imperative here as we utilize the ice block once more. Mei with no ice is huge, but with all that extra damage coming in from the rest of Bowling Green, I think, yes, I'm right, Marquette is going to be falling very quickly here, unfortunately, as Grants go on the Jungle Queen. She's basically a third DPS. I'm sorry, with Moira, they have 4 DPSs. I can't believe this, Philly. They're ready to start off 5 meters and pushing the bot more forward as we speak. And wait, Grant is at 95% ult charge, by the way. Didn't she get nerfed?
Yeah, no, that's a really good observation there, Not, because they had I think 2 or 3 eliminations in that last fight, so that is going to definitely accrue that ult charge very quickly. And like we were mentioning, you have technically like 4 DPSs with the amount of damage all of these people can put out. So even though that Shady Snare went down early, it didn't matter because they knew they could still win the fight. Here comes the Rampage, cleaning up 3 from the side of Marquette. They just have to finish off Stomps, and they're about to get him down now. And there we go. That's another fight win for the side of Bowling Green, and they'll be moving this cart a little bit more forward.
Beautiful. That's all I can really say. What else can I say? Beautiful Rampage, waiting for a lamp to be used, and then boom, ran right in, and everyone was purple. At this point, the only person that actually can do anything about it is Accent with the self-heal, but otherwise, everyone is at the mercy of being purple, of basically being naded, right? So, and bleeding as well. It's a beautiful synergy that Grant can just kind of utilize with the rest of his teammates. All right, here's the first choke we have to go through now. Once more, going with the Flux, and finally some momentum started for Marquette as we utilize both Flux and the sound barrier. Nightlight was trying to get the overclock, but Jesus, not gonna do much there as Reach annihilates him.
So once again, I want the discipline from Mickey. That the sound barrier was not needed there. You had that fight won. You got the coalescence out. I didn't think the sound barrier was needed for that instance. I guess it was nice to have just in case the coalescence decided to get some value, but I don't think you have a little bit more confidence in your team there to survive on their own. The big thing that Marquette did was they focused down Evan first because they knew he had the sound barrier, and that's the only thing that's going to stop that Flux from dealing the damage that it needs to. So that in the air, they took him down, sent him back to spawn, and were able to get a ton of value out of that Flux. Now let's see if they can roll into it. No, Grant comes through with 2 kills. Shady follows up just thereafter, and easily as they fell, they come back with a fantastic team kill and reclaim the bond.
That was a very quick team fight, and it all just happens because they are so on top of Marquette. You can't do much about it. You know, both supports on the each backline can only do so much before it's like we cannot out heal the damage that's being thrown out right now by Bowling Green. And speaking of damage, we do have Blade and we do have Rampage once again ready. Window does get popped out along with the overclock, so we have to get into cover into the little room. And can we bait them? Can we bait them to coming in? I would love that, to see a Rampage in this little hallway. Unfortunately, we're going to be Shady Snare going in pretty much by themselves, but the back end of it, we're going to be seeing the Rampage once more, and it's going to be coupled with the Coalescence. A little bit too much damage here, but if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. Stomps is gone once more. Nightmare cleaning it up with you know, just being Moira, being the damage. You add damage to everything. That orb goes around everyone, and it does so well when everyone's rampaging. Though orb out, their health is depleting so quickly. Nothing can be done. We have 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes left. we have to be, Marquette has to make a statement here, now or never.
There it is, and that's exactly what they need, is that pick. But Shady Snare does have something to say about, once again, with the Dragon Blade, but he does get frozen up and taken down. All right, but still the battle rages onward as they are taking the fight to them. Marquette trying to get the rest of those kills staggered out, and they do. Just one final, Night Levels with a nice little slide into the trees and then a headshot, but all for naught as they are sent back to spawn by the hand of Axe. So in that last engagement, the Junker Queen was able to dive in, right, just running through, axing, slashing people, and then they used the Rampage coming on people's backs through the team and getting 3 people with that Rampage to secure the fight. So that was a really good use of that ultimate to like kind of disengage but still get a lot of value from it. So Grant, once again, a heads up play to be able to maximize that ultimate. Here we go, Night Levels with the overclock.
All right, Mickey's the first to go down, and so is Robert. You have no support. There is nothing else you can really do here. You have to back up. Grant does go down for the count, but it doesn't really matter when the rest of your team is 2 left, and they are scurrying away as fast as Sigma can flow himself away, right? And they reclaim the bot at once more, and you know they're gonna get back to full respawn, and I'm not sure what Marquette can really do here. They're being a little stubborn with going for the same composition that Junker Queen, like we said, rolls straight through. They're gonna be. I like that Bowling Green is letting the bot go back to Marquette because they know they've won 2 fights off of this high ground, and they can likely win a 3rd one with no ultimates. We do have Flux, and okay, that is a game changer, is what I would say. Oh my goodness, they cleaned up. Thoms was so focused on taking care of Grant with the Flux, the rest of the team kind of got wiped by Bowling Green's defenses, by Bowling Green's DPSs and supports. They once again have the bot. Soms can't do much about this. JQ can get back there as fast as possible before respawn, and now we got a hold in this corner.
Yeah, and you know what they do? Very smart plays. They just push the bot, right? And as soon as they see a member from Marquette, they are like, all right, we'll disengage, right? Because now you have to push the bot back to us, right? They have to play this game with a little tug of war. But you're right, they have so much resources pumped in to try to take down the Junker Queen that everyone else just got murdered on the back of it. And then there goes another Rampage, but the headshot of the triple kill from the side of Reach. Will that be able to help secure this this payload? And I think it will. Wow, an absolutely shut down ultimate from the side of Marquette.
Reach, I need your aim right now. Like the tracking was impeccable. The headshot, I think it was through the window as well. We couldn't see that perspective quite clearly, but the way that, you know, Grant was going through the window, I'm pretty sure bro just got like destroyed by a single headshot damage from the overclock and the window coupled together with damage. So that was a beautiful team win, pretty much from Reach's end, and that's just what Reach brings to the table. Here's the next team fight, but Bot pushes over to the other side of Bowling Green, and they have to now deal with Accent going over to the Sombra, getting off the Mei, realizing it's not getting any value. Evan does utilize the sound barrier here, and that forces Accent to kind of just get out of dodge for a second. Overclock is right on Nightle's end, but are we going to use it? I don't think it's quite necessary yet, and I'm glad that that Nightle's did agree. Keeping that overclock for next team fight is very smart, especially with the fact that the ult economy for Bowling Green is a little bit low. You know, Shady and Evan both use their ultimates, and Grant and Nightmare are both, halfway there. So Night Levels is gonna be the one to save overclock for a little bit longer, maybe into this team fight.
There was a massive sound barrier on the side of Evan in that last one to keep everybody topped up. Shady Snare, once again, he's been going in with these Dragon Blades just trying to find some value, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but then you have to save the sound barrier for the Gravitic Flux, so it's like you can't really allow him to, facilitate that Dragon Blade, so he kind of just has to go in on his own and try to find some value from it. So it's a really tough space to be in. I do like the Genji because he's very quick, very versatile, can get to these high grounds, climb walls and things of that nature. But that ultimate is it's really tough. It's been shut down 3 or 4 times now. On that previous fight we just watched, a nice hold, very good discipline for the side of Marquette as they have 5 ultimates in the bank now, Madi, but only 30 seconds left on the clock and 70 meters left to go.
they have to pretty much use 1 or 2 ults for the next couple of team fights. Between 33 and 106, there's about 3 or 4 fights you have to hard win, and only 1 or 2 that can really be super drawn out. The first to go is gonna be Flux, and then coupled with that is gonna be the Rampage, which gets an equal amount of value on both ends, but it's gonna be, I believe Marquette won that fight right there. It's just Evan left, and then of course Scott on the JQ, who keeps getting hacked out of everything. Can't shout to get a little bit over health, can't do anything, immediately evaporates, and that's 3 ultimates already gone from Marquette. They have two ults left. They have window, hopefully to be used on that wide that long corridor, and then we can also use Reach's overclock just maybe to finish it out and hopefully get this to the next 50 meters they need. Okay, a little bit of stall here. We do have the checkpoint held. Bowling Green just has to hold this choke point, this corner right here, and they can secure it today, right now, Philly. Okay, we're going to this team fight, going with the shout and the coalescence. Goes right through shield, going to the back end, avoiding the window, and Mickey is down for the count. Oh my goodness! This is it. That's it. That's it, Elite. That's it.
That is a celebratory Dragon Blade. But yeah, the coalescence, the Kameha, with being able to dash into the backline and still be able to use that ultimate, and nobody's looking at you. So you're just like, okay, let me just mow people down. It was an absolutely massive play, and it was one they were looking for. I think that first fight was basically an economic push, where there's like, okay, we'll contest them. They're going to have to spend a lot of ultimates, and then we'll get them. This is that huge triple kill shutdown that we saw from Reach Out. That was huge. But yeah, the first push from Bowling Green, they knew that was just to get ultimates out of the bank. And then the second one, they knew that was going to be their win condition, and they had the coalescence in their back pocket. They just had to cause a little bit of distraction. Once that bot was stopped scratching his butt, then they just rush right in, distract, let Moira kind of slink her way through to the back line, use the Kameha, get some of those squishies down, and then the fight was over from there. So that was a really heads-up play, really a forethought kind of maneuver from the side of Bowling Green. In the reverse sweep, get your broom out, Madi, because it just happened.
I'm so good at manifesting. Like, I need to get on the film and be like, do you know how to win a lottery? Like, what's the next numbers? I don't know all that, but I do know that we did see a reverse 3-0 tonight on Overwatch, and that is so exciting. You know what's more exciting? We have an interview coming up, and Philly, I think you can guess who it is. It might be your GOAT of the night. If I had to guess who your MVP is, that's who's coming to our interview tonight. But before we get into that, we will be going into a very, very, very quick break as we get everything set up for our, honestly, in my opinion, also the MVP of tonight, Grant Sko from Bowling Green, the Junker Queen, the Sigma, coming in real hot. So we'll be right back with you for that interview. And back live here on EGFoverwatch, witnessing the beautiful reverse 3-0 from Bowling Green University. And of course, we have the GOAT today, repping the Sigma, repping the Junker Queen beautifully. It is Grant here joining us. Grant, please welcome. How are you doing tonight? How is the team feeling after you were down 2 games and suddenly boom, we win?
Yeah, I mean we're feeling great. I mean, like, the last 3 maps are some of our best maps. So it's something where it's like we just kept thinking about that. and uh and that's just what we kept looking forward to. Is Brit 66 is one of our strongest. Esperanza is like we I don't think we've ever lost an Esperanza game, it feels like. And our queen is just so good. This is our queen comp.
Yeah, so that leads me right into my next question. You must be like looking at my notes here. So, what was the decision? Because the Sigma has been the tried and true meta right throughout the last couple of weeks. So, have you been practicing this Junker Queen? Is that something that you're like, wait a second, this could kind of break the meta a little bit against some teams with a little bit of a shaky composition on this Sigma?
Yeah, so we've been running Junker Queen like ever since we've all gotten to be a team. And it's just it just flows super well with every character we play, where it's something where it's like Queen synergizes really well with the Sojourn, and Genji, where it's like I shout and it just gives my teammates like the extra 50 health and the speed boost, and we can all just collapse on a target. If I hit a knife, then I can just pull someone right out of position, and it's just like it's super dynamic, and like a lot of teams don't usually play against a Queen, so it works pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that you were able to accrue that rampage so quickly because you were hitting dagger after dagger, axe
Yeah.
after axe. The other team can't calculate how fast you're doing it, so you can catch it by surprise more
Like
often
they
than not.
can never guess the cooldown of the axe, because it's just I can hit 2 people and get it back instantly. I can miss and have it on an 8-second cooldown, and it's just it's all playing around shouting the axe mainly.
Absolutely. Managing those cooldowns is the name of the game. So my second question is, so we saw you the last couple weeks and majority of the season playing the Orisa. Now you have to flex over to the Sigma. I know you love the Junker Queen, so you probably always just play that on the side. But do you like this meta over the previous meta, or did you like the Orisa meta better?
I did not like the Orisa meta. It's just really boring. I just kind of just stand there, kind of just wait around till something happens. The Sigma meta, I just like. I mean, I'm a main Sigma player. Like that's like my favorite character. So it's something where it's like it's fun playing it, but also like the carry potential the Queen has is just also really fun. Something where it's like I just feel like I can take control of the map if I
Absolutely,
have the skill to. That's just all
for
it comes
sure.
down to.
Oh,
And
I
you
think you do
absolutely do.
personally. Yeah, they see.
Yeah.
We definitely think
Uh,
you and your team had the skill for it. And speaking of your team, please, who, as your final question, who do you want to give a shout out to? You know, it could really be anyone on your team. It could be your coach, your university. It could be anyone that you want to give a shout out to on the channel. Please let us know.
I would shout out
Mhm.
mainly my supports. My supports are just amazing. Like I cannot do my job without them. Like my captain, Nightmare, he's always coming up with the good strats, always making good plays. And then Evan BP, he's amazing. Like he's just the greatest Lucio I've ever seen. Like he's always out there dueling the other supports and winning, making amazing callouts. Having the speed boost on any of our comps is just so perfect. Um, and I just can't do it without him. And obviously my DPS are amazing too.
Can't leave him out, of course. Can't we? So beautiful stuff all around from you guys. Again, congratulations for winning tonight on a beautiful reverse 3-0. And again, hopefully we see you sometime soon. Please have a great rest of your day
Yep.
or night. And we
You
will
too.
see you guys next series.
All right. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Bye, Grant. And that's it for us. That was, again, my manifestation goes kind of crazy, Philly. Like I really said, we have a first 3-0, game 5, and we had that. That was a beautiful way to end tonight's series. Philly, how are we feeling?
Whew, I'm actually feeling amped up actually after these two super long matches. I thought I'd be exhausted, but I could go for another one, and I think there is one going on the official EGF page. It might be towards the end of it now because these two matches went super long. But if you head over there now, you might be able to catch the end of it.
Yeah, for sure. But speaking of end of it, we are gonna be ending things right here, right now. Please come back next week for both for some more Overwatch action. We have more collegiate action as well throughout the week. So please check out more with EGF official. And that's all we have for you guys today. Shout out to production for being amazing as always. And that's us. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.